Welcome back. This is Nuke Marine presenting the Suggested Guide for Japanese Literacy course series from Memrise. Again, this is a self-study course, but this is kind of like a video that either is documenting my self-study of it, going through the reviews of this through these courses, or maybe also some other special videos. And like again, if you were watching last night or you happened to catch my stream last night, it was a special stream in which I actually went into an hour-long. I didn't realize it was an hour long until I saw the time involved, but yeah, it was an hour long of a video reply to a gentleman who had posted on his video blog that weblog that he was going to actually try to learn Japanese to a functional fluent level in a year's time. I guess what he was saying, the equivalent of B2, which again, and usually for European and U.S. languages, they give it listing A0s, which means nothing. A1, A2 is kind of like beginner. Intermediate's around the B1 and B2, and the C levels when you start getting a more expert level. This is like you actually start using that language in an academic context. But yeah, he wanted to keep it more of a functional or everyday context, so again, that's where B1, B2 comes into play, which is kind of like in between maybe N3 and N2. It's hard to tell because again, they haven't assigned those type of meanings to the Japanese language. But anyway, I did that for like an hour and kind of went through my suggestion on how he should adapt what his plan based on the fact the quirks that involve the Japanese language, which is a little bit different than trying to go from English to French or English to Spanish, or from in between the various Romance languages, or English to German in those cases. But he did have some pretty good, he had some really darn good ideas and a really good plan because he's used it before to learn other languages. And I don't know, like, I'll take him on his word about how well he learned those other languages. Because I do believe that those are effective, what he was talking about, which is essentially go from image to answer and try to take English out of the equation as much as possible, which is really good. It's a technique that is encouraged, and again, something that Rosetta Stone claimed to try, and it did it half-assed. What he's doing is going to be a lot more targeted, and it's going to work a lot better. Rosetta just kind of like had its own little format, and then it tried to like copy and replace, or just kind of like just blindly replace everything and not even add any type of structure to it. And yeah, they already had the existing photos. They just wanted to make everything work to those photos instead of trying to target it to the way Japanese language works, or Korean language works, or the Chinese language works in those areas, or again the European languages, or the Latin languages in the around the world. Okay, and I guess I should check, make sure my audio's working. Again, the European languages, or okay, it is. Alright, and let's see, it looks like 2 people are watching. Now, also today, I think I'm just going to answer it real quick because this is early on. So, I'm surprised I missed it last night when I was looking, but I think after near the end of my stream of the video lessons, I guess somebody had posted this. Let's go down here real quick. Yeah, this guy, he kind of called me out, and I got to say he's fair. It's a fair critique in that whenever somebody posts something new, like here's a good example, good place to start learning Japanese basics. All right, so this guy posted this, and he found this here. I looked at this. I don't know, since he got to log in, I didn't want to go spend time trying to figure out how well this website happens to be. Is it a good place to start for beginner? And so I do my usual spiel and say, okay, look, it did look a bit like Memrise because it was offering a point system for learning stuff. Gave him a link to some other place which might be interested. And I misspelled international. There you go. And then I did my usual spiel, which is, okay, hey, look, also if you're interested, since you're a complete beginner, go here. And I usually left it at that. And again, it's not like I'm saying this is some magical course. It's just that this is essentially material from Hazig's book. This is material from Koscom's book, taught in RTK order. This material from Tai Kim. This material from Court. None of this material is mine. I'm just kind of repackage it and hopefully put it in an order in a format that makes sense. And here's kind of where I'm actually proud. I'm not going to answer this guy's thread. I was going to respond to it, and then I saw all the responses other people were making, and I realized, okay, I don't need to respond to it. You know, because again, he was complaining because he was just seeing my link all over the place, and maybe he felt that I was drowning out other people wanting to make recommendations. And the way I felt was, usually when someone posts something that, hey, I'm new, where do I start? Everyone usually got a few people to say, hey, there's the FAQ over to the left, why don't you check it out? And some people do it a lot more rudely, and it really just shuts people down. You know, that, you know, they're just coming here, they're excited, they want to learn a language. You know, if this is the first time, this could be pretty difficult. So, you know, I made a course where, okay, I'll always check on the new feed. If I see somebody asking, assuming it has been hidden by the mods, sure, I'll post it. I'll post my site. I'll make sure it's relevant to the question they're asking. Like if he's asking only about Kana, well, here's the links to Hiragana Katakana. Asking only about Taikim, here's a link to the Taikim course. Asking about Kanji, well, here's a link to the Kanji course. If it's about starting from the beginning or what to do, hey, well, here's the whole roadmap. And what I liked is that a majority, I think only one person was just neutral. One person was neutral, but I think a majority of them was saying, yeah, they've had no problem. You know what? And yeah, I think, you know, this one guy was neutral, but even he was right. It's like, but again, he's at advanced level. He probably doesn't care. I don't even think he's even looked at my material to even know if it's good or bad. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm saying it looks like almost all were positive and just one neutral. None of them were negative. I think in the replies, one person gave a negative response, but it wasn't really a negative to my material. It was a negative to me as a person itself, because he mentioned that I started studying Japanese 10 years ago. What he doesn't realize, if he knew my history, yeah, I started 10 years ago, and once I figured out, then for about 2 years, I really hit it hard and got up to the equivalent of an E3. But I was doing it not as a full-time Japanese student. I was doing it as a hobby. I was in the U.S. Navy, and also doing, you know, on a ship that's a command flagship. So again, it traveled a lot. It wasn't like I was living in Japan. And then after that, I also transferred to Africa for a year, and that's where I did a lot of my studying. Again, it was me in what they call a Q, containerized living unit, and that was it, with a very shitty internet connection, but just trying to get good in Japanese, and that's where some other stuff I got. And so yeah, that was about 2 to 3 years maybe, in which I actually got really good, and then I kind of, when I went back to Japan, oddly enough, I stopped, and then I just, for a number of reasons, got more interested in U.S. TV shows again. I was working on the Navy base, but I was working at under a one-star admiral command, or what they call a flag command. So I was started, and I was in a leadership position there. So I was putting a lot more toward my work as opposed to my hobby, of which was at that time learning Japanese. And so basically, Japanese started falling back more and more out of my life, even though I lived in Japan. So I mean, what I had could be sustained slightly, but again, I knew my skills were deteriorating. Yeah, and again, so that was about a 6-year period. So again, last year is when I'm trying to come back up again. So again, when he was attacking, he wasn't really attacking, he was just trying to say that, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, because, you know, I started this 10 years ago, and I'm barely an N3 type thing. Yeah, I guess it's true if you want to look at it that way, but that's why I always recommend, don't look on how long somebody has studied, like how many months or years. Look at how many hours. If you add up all the hours, what have they put into it? And you probably get a better sense of what their level will be based on that. Because again, 1 hour a week for 10 years is, you might be good, but yeah, you're going to be losing a lot anyway. I don't think you're going to be anything compared to someone who put that same number of hours, compressed it into a year. If for nothing else, because about the forgetting curve is going to be coming into play. But for the general though, if someone's doing about an hour a day, and for a year, you can get a pretty good estimation on you know, how good they actually are going to be. You know, if it's somebody who's at the 100-hour mark versus 500-hour mark versus 1,000-hour mark of active study, you know, you have a good idea of, you know, what was the material they used for grammar and how well they processed that, or if they were not doing that after doing something a little different, like sentence mining. Well, how many words have they built up? You know, if they built up a 10,000 vocabulary word from sentence mining, they probably got a pretty good grasp of the language. Because again, that's still time and effort. You know, people who do it that way don't like to call it studying, but it is studying, sentence mining. But that's not structured. It's not something you can point a beginner to, because it's easy to get lost, or you know, you fall into some traps like I did at the beginning when I was trying sentence mining. like a real world example. I had read about Katsumoto's website, all Japanese all the time. Oh wow, okay, sentence mining, cool. And then I found Rosetta Stone. I found some files so I can actually get a spreadsheet or their vocabulary list. So okay, cool. It's all in a PDF, so I had to type it all out. So hey man, here's 8,000 sentences from Rosetta Stone. Man, that's all the 10,000 sentences. We're almost at 10,000 sentences right there. No, okay. If it's just a sentence where just one thing is changed, or is essentially repeating or changing out some very simple vocabulary words and vocabulary words you've already known, that's not a good way to do sentence mining. But anyway, that was from mistakes way back then. I learned later was that never even bother with Rosetta Stone. Okay, but no, I'm saying like on this thread that I'm talking about here, I think most people, even the guy complaining, he's legit in the fact that, yeah, I'm posting this link all the time. And it says right here, hey, stop, don't spam, don't spam your product, which is cool. And most people answered it in a polite manner that said, yeah, this isn't really happening. It's, again, I'm not like just putting a link out there and not doing anything with it. I'm trying to at least adapt it to the person's question. And ultimately, this here started way back when I posted something called it's a highlighted, or it's a link thread here. Let's see, I think it was it learning resources? No, it was Japanese language. There it is. All right, so Nuke Marine's suggested guide for beginners. So this is what I did like almost 7 years ago, and this was really what it said. This was more of a thread I can link to whenever someone says how to begin or what next. That was it. All right. Instead of me retyping the same thing over and over again. All right. To say, okay, hey, look, here's the thread. Here's the information you need. Fucking have at it. And I was going to go into details of how, like, in each area, how to approach it. All right. Now this is out of date, in my opinion. I think I was using Anki in a more complicated way than it needed to be. And so I just wanted to simplify it for beginners. That's where Memrise come into play. Okay, let me get off my high horse and get into actually teaching these last few bits of kanji for the course 1 or course number 3. Hopefully I don't lose my voice. I think all the coffee isn't helping. Alright, so let's go back one. And just keep it simple. Alright, daily streaming. Okay, so this is almost done. We got 33, 34 done. We're getting 35, 36 done today. That leaves 37 tomorrow, and I can get back to actually learning kanji on my own. Well, relearning kanji on my own. I'll still be recording videos of that, treating it like a video lesson, but it's also going to be me going through Memrise and doing the lessons. So that's going to be good. And these will be kanji I haven't covered in a long time. Haven't formally covered in a long time. All these kanji here, especially up to lesson 18, I had already looked at those because I was teaching it as a class. And then these down here, I'd already went over it again about 5 or 6 years ago when I was trying to get back into Japanese for a little bit and failed. But yeah, now we're going to be down here. It's like, okay, this is some new stuff. Yeah, then of course I'll be going into grammar, and we'll be covering that as well. So again, hopefully I'll keep making progress, because that was another thing I mentioned to other people is keep pushing forward. Don't push sideways. Don't say, hey, I want to close up all these gaps in my vocabulary, and so I'm going to study this other vocabulary list. It's still basic vocabulary, from another website. Okay, that's going sideways. Just learn new vocabulary, and in the example sentences or more you read, you'll fill in the gaps that way. Same with the grammar, I think this is fairly complete, especially this book series here, the Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar. It's pretty freaking complete. As far as an English resource for teaching Japanese grammar, it's damn good. When you get into the intermediates, and definitely when you get in advanced, maybe I'll still use the advanced dictionary, but probably at that time you seriously consider using Japanese resources for getting into these more, use Japanese to learn Japanese. That's always a good thing to aspire to. All right, let's start this out. I think it just scared off a lot of people. So we have RTK 35. I'm writing that down now. RTK 36. Okay, and let's go down here. It'll be right here. Also, what I'll be doing is I'll input all the media files. I'll insert prior to each lesson, and I'll put a link in that media file to each of these. So it should be easier for students that, it's no need to, guide them toward a bunch of other websites in order to do it. They can just go one by one. And I am going to be losing my voice. Gosh darn it. Okay, lesson 35. We got everything there. We should have, I think. All right, so that's done. I don't think I have Heisig's latest. So 1767. Yeah, 1767. Okay. Yep. Oop. Oh, that ain't good. Ah. Stop that. Alrighty, let's go down. 1767 is near the end, right? Oh, wait. Overshot it. There we are. And we were at, yeah, period right there. Okay, so we'll go from there. Awesome. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, I get to see these in 168 days. Isn't that great? Alrighty. Let's take this on. Alright, so the time is now 16 minutes, 30 seconds. It is the 15th for lesson 35. And let's do the intro. And welcome back. This is Nuke Marine presenting the Suggested Guide for Japanese Literacy Course Series on Memorize. Currently this is course number 3, Remembering the Kanji Optimized, Part 1, teaching the 555 kanji from the 2001.kanji.odyssey book series by Coscom and presenting that book 1 in Remembering the Kanji order. We are currently on lesson 35, so this is the 3 more lessons to go before the completion of this course series, in which I then recommend students go on to learn grammar and then vocabulary. And hopefully the learning of this kanji will make those 2 areas a little bit more easier. You start learning how these kanjis are used in the Japanese language more and more. Alright, so with that we can begin. And if you've been watching this video, and you enjoyed it, enjoy how I'm presenting it, please consider hitting the like button for it. If you consider subscribing if you haven't already, and again, I'll be making new material as time goes on. Finally, consider sharing it. If the best course in the world doesn't mean anything if nobody knows about it, and I do consider this a pretty decent course, and the video series is helping demonstrate how the course can work. Yeah, so you can share either the channel itself or the playlist in which I have that I gather for the various courses, or the individual videos if you find those entertaining. Okay, let's see. We are on. Let me go and put this onto the correct kanji, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. Let's see where we're at. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, go forward 4. Okay, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Fundamentals. Alright, so what, as always, and you're probably an expert at this by now, is I'm going to present the Isaac keyword, and this keyword is going to have a rough meaning of this particular kanji. It's not going to be all inclusive because there can be some other meanings as well. In addition, this keyword, the idea is that from when you hear it, this brings together this type of this visual story, or mnemonic if need be, and the mnemonics have in them information that can help you recreate this kanji from memory. In addition, what I'll be going over Japanese vocabulary words that utilize this kanji. The purpose is not to memorize the vocabulary word, nor to memorize the pronunciation. Again, it says present for completion, so they can give you a better idea about the flavor that this kanji offers to the Japanese language. Alright, with that we can begin. Alright, so the key word is fundamentals. Some other terms it means, like foundation is another one. So fundamentals or foundations, like the basics of a learning. So sometimes you'll see this attached to any books dealing with training in an area. It's a radical in chemistry and a counter for machines. Now, Okay, some words that use it. So fundamentals. In this case, moto, origin, source, or base. Sometimes moto is attached to the kanji for book, which means also source. Ki, a group. Radical, stone lanterns. Also motoi, basis or foundation, or the cause. Moto, motoi. Here we have is kiso, foundation or basis. Kijun, first word, standard, basis, or criterion. You can kind of getting a theme here. And then finally, kichi, base. Now this is like a military base or a base of operations. So, alright, so the story in this particular case is fundamentals of chess. Use rooks to protect your ground. So in this case, for the bushel basket, I guess what this person is doing, I guess it makes sense. He was calling the bushel basket a rook, because it does kind of look like a rook, and you also see it in references to Chinese or a Japanese game called Go, or it's an Asian game called Go, or a Japanese game called Shogi. You'll see this, the top part, in the names of those games. All right, so with that, let's see what Isaac has to say on the matter. All right, so we got fundamentals. All right, so we got period, Go, and that's the game Go. Fundamentals. Okay, we got bushel basket, which some people are referring to as rooks, and soil. All right, so fundamentals of chess, use rooks to protect your ground, or you can say the fundamentals of, you want to say to building something, it's like maybe, yeah, kind of like the idea of putting fundamentals, like you have to bushels to, you got to make sure you build the ground first. Don't set a bushel down basket on its own. Have the ground around it to support it. It needs to have that base. So let the ground be the base. I guess, or you could think about this theory of don't build your house on sand. Don't build it on a solid stone. So the foundation your foundation shouldn't be dirt. It should be rock or stone, if you want to go that way. All right, so let's do you can either do it rook or bushel basket. So you do a straight line. We'll do this in two parts. Let's see, there. So we're doing the bushel basket or the rook. There's the 2. There's 2. Do the final one, and then finally we're gonna. It should be that little higher. Yeah, give a little bit more room. All right, there's that, and then finally finish it off with the dirt. So the foundation could be either compacted dirt as opposed to loose dirt, which make a good foundation for your base or operations when you're going to set your bushel basket down. That way it doesn't fall over. Fundamentals. Next kanji. Nothingness. This is a pretty good one. I look at this as being hot tub. Let's see, yeah, oaken tub, or if you need to, the hot tub works just as well. The bath. So this is nothingness. None, ain't, nothing. It's again kind of like a negative verb. If it's used in a word, it's kind of give the opposite meaning of the word that it's attached to. And it's a new word that. Okay, so this is, let's see. So this is the nai. So if you ever heard of nai or nakunaru, yeah, nothing. Here we have is muchi, ignorance, or mu. So here we have is mume, unsigned, nameless, anonymous, muri. Unreasonable, impossible, overdoing. You'll just hear that a lot. Moody, can't be done. Kaimu, second word, nothing. Here we have is buji, safe, safety, quiet. In other words, no matter. The matter did not occur. Nothing occurred. Bure, impolite or rude. Buaiso, unsociable, bluntness. Alright, so again, this is a pretty good word. Let's recline blissfully in an oaken tub, heated by an ever so light campfire, and fade away into nothingness. Yeah, that sounds like my story. So let's see, let's build up to it. So we have fundamentals here, tremendously, intuition, withstand. Now here they have is a purse. I don't think we'll see that in that kanji, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, but we'll visit it again if we have to. Precious, bequeath, dispatch, dance. Okay, now here, what he's talking about is standing back, and then the next 6 he's saying is oaken tub. And alright, so let's draw that. Okay, control delete. So the way he was saying these are two things, I always combine them. So he's saying this here, and then 2, 4, and then kind of connect it. I think that's how it was doing it. I don't want to lie to you. So lay down, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8. Alright, so let's redo that real quick. Okay. Okay, so you got 3, so 1, 2, then kind of like there's these right here, and then underneath. Alright, so that's kind of what's happening. So let's draw it. So do the lie down, do the part underneath. So that's kind of like the banding of the oaken tub. Because again, you want to lay down in the oaken tub. 1, 2, let's do it 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and that's oaken tub. Alright. Now, I personally think I treat it all together. Maybe there's something that involves it, but yeah, I think it's all together. I look at it as being oaken tug. So now let's do nothingness. Let's go back to Heisig. Go put this over here. Okay. So here's Heisig. So that's dance. Now we have his nothingness, and this has the fire at the bottom. So that's thinking like a nice little hot tub that you just sit in and just enjoy. Fade away into nothingness. Alright, so let's do the hot tub. So nothing new here. We'll do the strokes. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the base of the hot tub, or the tub, wooden tub, and then the campfire. 1, 2, 3. All right, nothingness. Nigh. Just sit back in the, get in the hot tub and just fade away into nothingness. It's a pretty simple. Nigh. Now we have is investigate. We've had some others because there's evaluation. There is we'll be getting into that, but yeah. So investigate. Investigate. In other words, this is usually if you have sa. It shows odoro daisosa sosa sen or something. It's just okay. It's just dealing with investigation. Here's some words that use it. I'll just keep it that way. So it's like investigating, like police investigation or criminal investigation. All right. So sasatsu, inspection for compliance, inspection for like tax. Okay. Chosa, investigation, examination, inquiry. Okay. You can kind of see a theme here. Junsa, police or policeman. Now I don't normally hear that, but okay. But yeah, okay. So again, investigation, mainly within a legal matter. Let's see. So we have nothingness. So here, first thing is one to learn is part of the investigation, what's called shelf. So let's cover that. All right. So in other words, when you see this, it's going to be a kanji for shelf. So it's kind of like you're doing moon. Almost is like you're doing moon. It's going to look like a shelf or a bureau. We'll do the 2 strokes there. So now it looks like moon there. But now we just put the little base there. Now it's a shelf, some knick-knack shelf or a drawer or bureau, something. What he's saying right there. Yeah, there it is for knick-knacks. Yeah, and also he's saying it looked like drawing I with that bottom stroke being long. Okay, so with shelf we have association, course, tariff, ancestor. In fact, that's the so of sofu and sobo for grandmother, grandfather. Oji-san, oba-san. Thwart. Here we are, investigate, tree and shelf. So we go back here. A whole team of cops is sent to investigate how a tree can grow out on top of a shelf in no soil or water. So yeah, you got this little tree here that's for some reason on a shelf, you know, and maybe it's like the intro of NCIS or whatever else, like Special Victims Unit, or something happens, something weird, or FBI or the X-Files, whatever you want to do. So let's draw that. So we have investigate. So investigate that noise. Investigate why did this tree? How did this tree? Investigate how did this tree grow on top of the shelf with no soil or water? Okay, investigate. Investigate. Next kanji. Row. Now this is in a row or by each other, not row your boat. It's, you know, side by side or like lined up. So anyway, row and besides, as well as line up. Ranks, now it could be rank with, rival, or equal. So let's say first thing is like Nami, average, medium, equal, or E. Okay. Narabu. Narabu means to line up, please. Now it's kind of weird. They don't have a. Huh. Hey. Oh. Not seeing Onyomi for this. But yeah, Narabu is to line up. Naruberu is to line up stuff. Line up in a row. Or range. And it's saying here for the story. So you can see right here, you see horns. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks kind of weird, but what it's saying is like, imagine you have the two things for vases side by side. And it's like a simplified ideogram of that. Two people standing in a row. Two vases standing in a row, if you want to. Instead of two people, two vases standing in a row. Let's see what Isaac has to say on the map. So we got investigate, help, best regards, tatami mat. So here we have his row. It's like standing in a row. Two vases standing in a row. And let's see, primitive meanings could be the same as a kanji. Appears. We're gonna cover this about these specials. So I think I'll cover that now. So let's do that. Okay. First thing, let's do with row. As he was saying, it's like we're trying to think of. Imagine we're trying to do this and merge them. So one do the horns, one do the base of the horns. So right there, so those are the top of the vases, or maybe these are two little flowers of the vases got smashed together that were standing by each other. All right, one do the two center strokes, I believe so. Let me make sure I'm not lying here. Yeah, the two center strokes. Then we want to do, so there's the top, there's the vase, do the two center strokes, then the outside stroke. So, you know, nothing, it feels natural if you've been writing kanji now. This starts feeling a little natural. You start feeling, all right, and then that's in a row. What he was mentioning is that you're going to see it in a couple different ways. You might see it up at, you might see it up at the top. Trying to remember. Let me go back here. There's one where you see it without the top, so it's below something, so something is atop. And then it was saying right here, upside down a row, like hanging upside down, like maybe two bats hanging upside down a row. If you need to go with that manner. All right, so let's. So it's going to be a little. So this is what's happening. Like we had sun. So say by right here. Let me see the two here. So it still follows roughly the same stroke pattern, and then might be something up above or below. Then also another way you're going to see it is what he says upside down in a row, which is trying to remember. Well, yeah, and that's where our it's basically where they got flipped. So it's where these here got flipped with that. So you're going to do, and this one's going to do two strokes. All right, so it almost looks like sparklers. All right, and when you do that, two strokes, there's the sparklers. Then do the two legs. All right, then do the two legs, and then something's happening here. So this would be like upside down a row. So this is like you know, a top in a row, and this upside down in a row. So row, a top in a row, upside down in a row. However you want to work it. So that's this kanji. Next. All right. So here we have is row on top of a sun, and this is universal. Okay. So universal, universally, wildly, generally, and also it's an abbreviation for Russia, or a symbol for Russia. I see this a lot in train station because this is like the Fusu is the normal train, like every stop it does it. So it's not the special line. It's just, so that's where I usually see it at. So here we have is Fusu, the second word Fusu, general, ordinary, usual. So train that stops at every station. There you go. I mean that's what Fuhen, the second word, or second, third, and fourth word. Universal, ubiquitous, omnipresent, everywhere. Then we have is Fujin, 1, 2, 3. The fifth word, a building, Fushin, building, construction, group effort. All right, so yeah, universal or universally. And it's pretty easy. See a row of suns. So think of the universe. Universal is essentially just a row of suns. And that's, yeah, a row of suns as long as a universe. The universe is full of suns. Explain the appearance. Okay, easy enough. Let's look at how Isaac has to say about it. There he has row and sun. Nothing special there. Let's do it. All right, so let's do the row. So we'll do the top part of row. And it's like a little squeezed. All right. Alright, so there's the top part, so there's the row, and then it's universal, or universe, universal, and sun. Alright, so there's the universe, universal suns. Next kanji. Profession. Now this is upside down the row and husband, but this is profession. Not to be confused with gyo. Well, yeah, this is gyo. Occupation. Don't be confused it with occupation. But anyway, so this is a business, profession, a business, a vocation, arts, performance. So usually I see it in reference to business. Words that use it. Waza, deed, act, or performance. Gyo, work or business, or go, karma. So here we have is gyoseki, first word, achievement, performance, or results. So it's probably like more shokugyo, shokugyo, okay. Business, occupation or business. Sotsugyo, and this is graduation or completion of a course. But yeah, usually say that for high school or college graduation. Sotsugyo. Here we have go-byo, incurable disease, so that's karma there. Zai-gyo, I'm not sure which zai they're asking about. Looks like medicine, so maybe something about poison, bitter pill or something. I don't know. I'm making that up. Jugyo, jitoku, paying for one's mistakes. Okay, so they're karmic retribution again. But again, profession, standing upside down in a row, and then husband. So if your product you're planning to sell is still hanging upside down a row, let's say it's still on the conveyor belt, hanging upside down a row, on the original delivered trucks, you're not yet, and there's the kanji for not yet, not husband, I'm sorry, that was not yet ready for business. So hanging upside down a row, not yet ready for your professional business, profession or business. Let's go down real quick. So we had universal, musical score, damp, appear, slender, spirits, that's a good one. Profession, here we go, in a row, upside down, and not yet. Okay, this is slap. That was a, if you know sumo, this is the, in the word for sumo. And this is, oh, there's, it's not really boku, is it? Yeah, it is boku. Okay. I'm not going to worry about it. So let's say, again, profession. So think the profession or business, and your products are being delivered in a truck, and everything's upside down the road because they haven't been taken off the truck yet. So you're not ready, you know. So hang upside down a row. So what do we do for that? So we want to do the top part. There's kind of like there's all the little legs hanging up. Here's the little branch. Do you see the legs hanging up over? All right. There's our little heads. Maybe. See that? So there's the upside down row, and then we want to do not yet. And if you remembered from not yet, it is essentially one branch is not yet as long as the second branch. Okay, and then finish off the tree. This is profession or business. Profession or business. All right. And I get the feeling I should change that to, don't confuse that with occupation. I think we already showed occupation, which was, I think it actually, it should be doom, boom, boom, sorry. But yeah, occupation. Don't confuse it with that. Okay. Next kanji. Together. Now, this is one I can consider as Noah's Ark. but anyway, together, both. This is the tomo of Kodomo. Is it Kodomo or? Can't remember. I think it was Tomodachi. Let's see. Tomo. That's submit. Kodomo. No. Okay. Anyway, ignore what I just said. So anyway, this is domo or tomo. Domo, first person plural. And also tomo, both, all, as well as, including. Gyodo or kyodo. the first word, doing together as equals, sharing or something in common, joint statement. Here we have is kyosu, commonness, community. Here we have is kokyu, public or community, public service. And do we have another? No, okay. So anyway, this is the character for gives the idea to use the primitive as Noah's Ark. So this is like I forgot what that is. Okay, deluge or flood, Noah's Ark. So Noah is a salad on board to entice the animals with their animal legs scurried board together 2 by 2. I can't remember, is that my story or not? Maybe. But yeah, when I see it, I think of Noah as a primitive as Noah's Ark. But let's see what Isaac has to say real quick. So we have profession, slap, me. This is like the boku for boys and younger men. Here we are together, and the way he was saying strung together, I just like the idea of you could do this salad and animal legs. I just prefer Noah's Ark because again, it gives that idea of together where all the animals were put together on a big boat. Let's go with the stroke order. Control delete. So remember, it is together. It still is a salad. So think of the salad, which is flour on a plate. Salad, flowers on a plate is salad. And then you just want to do the animal legs, representing all the little animals that are enticed by the salad onto Noah's Ark, if you want to, together. So all the salad is put together on the boat, and then all the little animals came back together to eat the salad together. And then Noah's Ark, you're going to see quite a few kanji, so just think Noah's Ark. Next kanji. Here we have is submit. Now this is the, tomo. This is this Tomada? No, this is a different tomo. This is the domo of Kodomo. So this is the reason why they're saying about children. This is the domo of Kodomo. Let's see, do they have it here? I'm not seeing it. Oh well. Anyway, submit, offer, present, or to serve, or to accompany. Okay, so we're going to use submit. Sonoeru tomo. Let's see, tomo. Again, it's the second word, or third word. Companion, a follower, or attendant. Here we have is kyokyu, supply or provision. And we have another. Teikyo, offer, tender, program, spawn. Now you'll hear this if you watch a lot of Japanese TV shows. You'll hear teikyo a lot. So kono bangumi wa teikyo jugyo no teikyo suru no wa, something like that. I'm kind of forgetting how they say it, but yeah, you'll hear this word teikyo a lot. Jikyo, confession. Kumotsu, offering. Kuyo, memorial service for the dead, holding a service. Okay. So here we have his Batman wanting to protect Noah's Ark. So he submits his application to protect Noah's Ark because he wants to make sure all the animals are safe. If you want that little visual, let's see what Isaac has to say. Together, submit. Here's a transitive verb to offer, present, person strung together, or person Noah's Ark. All right, so let's do that. So again, submit. To submit to the will of Noah. So there's the Batman submitting a protection application to Noah's Ark. So say the salad and submit to Noah's Ark to help protect all the animals during the flood. The Batman. Okay, now we have it uncommon. Here it is, rice field and Noah's Ark, uncommon. Now again, this is similar to unusual or un. So again, this kind of gets a negative when added to it. You can take an existing word, add this to it, and then you find it gives it a more of an opposite meaning to it. You can't do, again, all these you don't do it randomly. I mean, so they all have words that use these various negative or negators, I guess is a good way of saying it, in the vocabulary. But when you get to kanji or vocabulary, because of the way I've got them sorted, when these words start coming up, it's going to be obvious in how they're used. And you just gotta, don't try to be creative. Figure out if a word is used that way before you try it. Okay, so this is uncommon. Queerness, strangeness, wonderful, curious, or just unusual. Let's see. First thing we have is difference, strange, odd. Fair enough. And koto, difference, different thing, unusual. We have is iron, a different opinion, an objection. Ido, a change in something. And ki, odd, strange, or wonderful. Okay, ki. It must have been a very uncommon to the lookout on a rice field and see Noah's Ark. So in other words, it's like uncommon because I guess before the Ark was built, the idea of that story was a big boat was built, loaded up with a bunch of animals, great flood came, and the boat was able to save all the animals. Boom. But obviously before the land, all right, so imagine though it was a very uncommon sight. There's the rice field, and there happens to be an ark right there under it, right there below the, on the sceneries. There's a ark being built right there on top of the field. Why? That's a very uncommon sight, because again, normally you have water involved. Submit. Here we have is uncommon. It's saying brains in together. I think we can do rice field for here, for uncommon. Alright, so again, it was an uncommon sight to see Noah's Ark built by the rice field. So let's say the rice field, right there, and then we'll do Noah's Ark. Okay, let's do the Noah's Ark. Boom, boom. Alright, boom, uncommon, uncommon. Next kanji. This is koto, or E. Harbor. Now here we have is water, ark, and snakes, and then harbor. Now this is actually like, again, a sea harbor. If you go in Yokohama, it's Minato Mirai, so this is the Minato of harbor, right there, or a port. Harbor or port. Let's see, we have is Kowan. Second word, harbors, or yeah, it's just basically another form for harbor. That's the wan of Taiwan. Gyo, a fishing harbor. There you go. Gyoko, a fishing harbor. And then we have a Shuko, departure, clearance of a ship. So a ship is leaving a port. Again, you can kind of see it. You're going to find this out when you get into vocabulary, and hopefully is that because of these kanji, they're technically are like a bunch of different words, but they're only different because of the kanji that happen to contain them. They're pronounced the same and they have similar meanings, but just tweaking the kanji in it changes where that is meant to be done for. Like in this case, this was the shu is there, and shuko. Now it could be whether it's in this case, like for dealing with ko of koko, gakko or school, or ko as in koko or the same direction, leaving at the same time, leaving school, departure in this case was of a ship. Then we have sailing because of the ko for navigation. So they're all it's the same word. The shuko, the pronunciation is it. The thing that changes is the context. So if you know the context, you already know what that word is used for. And if you know the kanji, then you know what the word is used for. So that's the strength of learning kanji. You might end up learning many more words than you realize, just by nature of you're comfortable with the kanji, you're comfortable later on with how they're pronounced, and then you've seen how they've been used in other words. So when you see it used in which is technically a new word, it doesn't feel like a new word. It feels like a word you already know because you're familiar with how they work together. Okay, anyway, sorry. Here's the story. We need a safe harbor or port. Drowning in the pouring water. There we go. In the distance they see Noah's Ark. One snake says the other, head to that harbor or port. Okay, so water, Noah's Ark, snake. Isaac, let's see what we have. Uncommon, wing, deluge, harbor. And it's saying deluge and snakes, but get these motherfucking snakes out of my motherfucking harbor. Or if you want to do that, sure. Or out of my motherfucking ark if you want to do the snakes on an ark story. So here's the water for the harbor, representing the harbor. And obviously at harbor you're going to have Noah's Ark in the harbor. And of course, because it's starting to flood, obviously you're going to have to bring all the animals. That includes the snakes. So there's the little snakes. You can say, hey, don't forget us. Okay. Did you think he could have at least killed those two fucking mosquitoes, in this story? Would that have been too much to ask? I know it's a fable, but this is kind of funny. Some people like to joke about that. All right, I think this is the last one. Now we have is warui, or bad. Now this is I don't think Asia. No, okay, there it is. That's not the meaning. Sorry. So bad, vice, rascal, false, evil, wrong. Now it says Asia and heart. Anyway, so this is warui, bad. In fact, if you heard the game Wadio, it's a Mario Wadio. So this is why he's pronounced that. It's like it's a play on the word Wadu, Wadio. So bad Mario, Wadu. Yeah, so Wadui. Akuji, evil deed, an evil deed, a crime, wickedness. There's Aku, evil or wickedness. Akui, ill will, spite, evil intentions. It's a very negative kanji. I think Akuma, if you the Street Fighter character Akuma is in there, so it's like evil spirit, Akuma, or devil. Ugliness, meanness. Oh, I'm sorry, Shuaku, ugliness, meanness, offensiveness. Okan, chills, shakes. Ague, I don't know about that one. And there's also a second word, ill-happy, an ill or unhappy feeling. Feverish. Ko, likes and dislikes. Okay. Zol, hatred. Interesting. Now, yeah, so the first part is Asia. We'll be covering that, and then heart. Because Asian people started to eat bad Western food, their hearts become bad, and they started to have heart attacks. Some people use the opposite. A lot of Asian food, eating too much Asian food or greasy Asian food is bad for your heart. Whatever you want to do. Asia. Let's go with the Heisey real quick. So we were at to harbor. Here we have his outburst, bomb, respect, elect. That's good for the election years. That's also used in the athlete. Sorry, it's getting off topic. Mister. Okay, they call me Mister. Okay. Here we have his well, surround, till. Okay, here we have his Asia. It's used an abbreviation for Asia. It should be seen as like one mouth, two, and then we're going to do bad. Alright, tell you what, we'll just kind of show you Asia real quick. Let's see. Okay, so if you want to think about it, think it's like Asia is one large country. Alright, and Asia is also appearance of where you had the, one country but billions of mouths to feed. Alright, if you want to, these next two strokes can represent two chopsticks if you want. Two chopsticks. And so that's the one country, lots of mouths to feed with chopsticks if you want to go it that way. And then it's also covering the, this could be the land itself, covering everywhere. So that would be Asia, or Now we want to do bad. Bad. So we want to do, if you want to think wicked or evil or bad, so we want to think of Asian food. Alright, so there's one mouth. Alright, I should do this a little, compress it a bit more, yeah. Compress that. There's one, alright. And then eating all that greasy Asian food. Now, Japanese food is not greasy. Some of it is, but yeah, but eating too much greasy food is bad for your heart. So eat Asian food instead of Asian food, because greasy food is bad for your heart. Depending on how you want to be negative toward using negative toward the Asian, primitive or not. If you want to be racially sensitive or something. All right, so we have Asia, bad. Okay, now let's see. What's the last kanji? I think that's it, right? One more kanji. How many kanji? No, we got more than that. We got 4 more to go. That's right. So we're at 35 minutes so far. We got another 3 or 4 to go. That's right. All right. So let's go to levels. Preview. All right. Good. End. Now this is similar to when we did color, but the orders are going to be a little weird. So this is circle. But this is also the symbol for Japanese yen, or N, E-N, N. You see it usually in the U.S. or other countries. You see a different symbol for yen. It looks like a Y with 2 little dashes. In this case, though, this is normally the referencing to N, or circle, something was circular. So this means circle, yen, Japanese currency, or round. Marui, which is round. There's also other kanji that have round into it, but yeah, marui, circular. Here we have is Enumaru, Entaku, a round table. Here we have is Injuku, Injuku, ripeness, maturity, mellowing. Okay, Ichien, a whole district, or 1 yen, and throughout. Usually each yen is here at 1 yen. There you go. Okay, so this is N. Now, let's just go with Heisig instead of this. There's a story that represents that as well. Let's just go with Heisig real quick. So we got bad. Here we have his end. So we do glass canopy or the motorcycle helmet, or whatever you want to do with it. I think I call it the Jedi monk, or the hood. I like to think of the monk hood. This Kanji in, and we do finally a split the hood down. So okay, yeah, sure. Let's work with that. All right. So what we can imagine, just imagine you have the monk hood. So you want to do something that's circle or circle. So you want to do the monk hoods because that's kind of doing circle. It's not kind of like with doing circumference. Now we're doing circle, so we do the monk hood. All right, and then what we want to do is we want to make smaller circles. So we want to make circles within circles. So we can say like divide it into quarters, like we sort of did there. And then divide it. So we're thinking this is a squared circle, and if you've ever done wrestling, you know squared circle is easy enough. And then we want last one is this last stroke, and then these could be the little circular glasses that are within under the monk's hood. All right, so I don't know. Yeah, glass. I don't think of any monk or Jedi wearing glasses. If you want to go with that, sure. Okay, but there you can see it. So it's definitely that vertical stroke, then the horizontal stroke. So that's N. N. Next kanji. Good. Here we have his angle. What he's going to have is like here, the second thing is going to be called a glass case, and up there is bound up. I'm going to refer to this whole thing as being a boomerang, but we'll be getting to that. So anyway, this word is angle, like a bent, 90 degrees, 70 degrees, whatever, some type of turn. But a little different from bend or maru. So this is like a okay, you mean this is more of a corner, like an actual corner. So angle, but a corner, like a 90-degree angle. Square, horn, antlers is also some other words. So here we have is kado, a corner, like of a desk or a pavement or a street corner. Kado. Kaku, an angle or a square. Bishop in shogi, third degree. Okay, sumi, a corner or a nook or a recess. Yeah, sumi. You got suno for horn. I've never heard that before, but there you go. Here we have is kakudo, an angle. Sankaku, a triangle. I've heard that before. So three angles, triangle. Makes sense. Tokaku. Not seeing it. Where are we at? There we are. The fifth word, tokaku. To distinguish oneself, standing out, top of the head. All right. So let's look at Heisig's. Let's go to Heisig real quick. So here we have his bound up. So bound up, which you already got, glass canopy, and walking stick. Not quite sure about that. Okay, yeah, glass canopy, and yeah. So he's definitely saying kind of like we're doing. Okay, we're gonna see it kind of like. Just for here, remember this here for screwdriver. 1, 2, then 3. Alright, so remember that third stroke was done last. We're going to do it in the opposite way for what you want to do is introduce this right here, and I can't quite remember okay, that's different. Okay, so he wants to do that. He wants to do so kind of like the pirate hood as opposed to the monk hood. So there's the pirate hood because there's the peg leg. Alright, then he wants to do the vertical stroke. Then, I'm trying to remember, do I have a... So that's what he wants to do this. And I'm trying to remember, I'm sorry. Yeah, right there. They're very ugly, but... Let me go back here. Hit at just right angle. The boomerang was tossed at the glass case. Okay, that's why. So this is a... yeah, maybe you call that like a medicine cabinet or a glass case. Something instead of a shelf, like we already covered, like a bookshelf or whatnot from previously. And this is like the canopy, but inside is some knickknacks, so glass canopy. So that could be the knickknack. So that could be the glass shelf. So this right here. So that's what he's looking at this being. So this is like the glass shelf. So there's a glass hood, and inside are shelves with the glass hood turning into a glass shelf. All right. So now what we want to do is boomerang. So. Well, we want to do it for angle. Okay, so you can just imagine this glass case has been bound up because, you know, again, imagine someone threw a boomerang and it was supposed to be bound to the guy's hand, but when this kid was playing around with it, maybe it was a boomerang, like a virtual reality boomerang, you know, but it became unbound, like he didn't have it bound to his hand, so it came loose, and it shattered this glass shelf. So there's bound up, so it's like the bound up boomerang in the guy's hand. So again, this is for an angle. So if you toss let's see, if you angle it just right when you toss the boomerang, it's gonna. I can imagine the boomerang coming back around and then breaking the bond that was protecting the glass canopy and shattering it. So I don't know. Somehow let's get the visual in there. This becomes a little weird. You know, you could force it, but anyway. So there's the glass canopy. But we want to make sure it's the glass shelf. There's the glass canopy. There's the vertical. And again, this is. Oh, I kind of messed that up. Okay, there's the. We'll do that. All right, and we'll just finish it up. So this is an angle, and then or boomerang. So somehow associate bound up and glass case with an angled boomerang, or 90-degree angle or corner, angled boomerang. All right, I think should be one more after this, and this is where we get unraveled. So we get this unravel. So this means to solve something or to stroke order, yeah. In fact, it's a solution of an equation. So to unravel a problem, a solution to a problem. Irikai, or I think it's irikai. Yeah, right there, irikai. Understanding, comprehension, appreciation. Here we have is tokeru. I think that means toku, to understand something. I'm guessing here. I'm kind of forgetting. Kaiketsu. Settlement, solution, resolution. Kaikin, perfect attendance. Take that back. Don't ignore that one. Not kaikin. Kaikin, the second word. Lifting a band. Rikai, the first one. Understanding, comprehension, appreciation. Gedatsu, being liberated from earthly desires or woes of man. Let's see. Genetsu zai. Fever medicine, antipyretic, antifebrile. Gedokuzai. Sounds like these are some medications. Antidote, or counteraction. Gedoku. So unravel, to fix, to, yeah. So either it's solving of something or to improving something. Yeah. So it's more of a positive meaning to this kanji. And I'll say this: what I kind of did. And this happened when I started learning vocabulary words, is that originally when I was learning stories from Isaac and I was trying to create my own stories, I would give them either flavors, and if it was like a more of a dark story or a light story, it would give a flavor of that kanji. But then you find out, like, you learn words that uses kanji, and it didn't really quite fit the story you had, or because that story you created also kind of gave you a feeling or an emotional response to these kanji. And yeah, so it was good to where I probably had to go back and change my story in a way to where it gave me to change my emotional response to this kanji. You know, because again, if you got something like warui, or evil, you don't want it to have something lighthearted or funny. You want it to actually have something negative. Whereas something dealing, you know, if you have something involving a funeral, but it's something lighthearted, you know, it kind of, it might ruin the way to interpret the language of Japanese and how they use it. It's hard to explain. When you get into vocabulary, that this starts making more sense. When you start seeing how these kanji are used by Japanese. Got a question by P. Lolo. I wonder if this method splits some of these less complex characters into too many derivatives. It is possible. Yeah. That's why some people, one guy he's mentioning, is like, he's just going to learn these primitives, right? And then when he runs to a kanji, he'll just use the primitives to help remember the kanji. But it's going to be related to the word he's going to try to learn, and that could work as well. But anyway, let me go to the story, because I was kind of going into a discussion mode. So here we have angle. Now we have his contact, similar to touch. Now we have his unravel. So angle, dagger, and cowl. All right, so we got angle, dagger, and cowl. And here we have angle, or then bound up glass case, dagger, and cow. So what I imagined was to unravel. So I imagine like somebody in Australia threw a boomerang, all right, and the boomerang happened to be on each of the tips of the boomerang was a dagger, and it just hit the cow at just the right angle that it kept wrapping around the cow and unraveled the leather covering of the cow from the cow's body. So that, when I was saying unraveled, like it was just unraveled this cow. Maybe it was a target cow, like it wasn't alive or anything, but it just came to pieces. It unraveled. It came apart. It was figured out, if you need be. So again, so I think of unravel. I think about a cow being unraveled. So I think of somebody who was tossing a boomerang. So we'll do the boomerang or the angle. Tell you what, let's do this in 3 parts. Okay, so there we have that. We got that. Now we want to do we already got the boomerang. Now we want to toss it. Oh, sorry, go back. I want to take that boomerang and attach some daggers to it, or throw it so hard it's like it was like throwing a dagger. All right, and this boomerang hit the cow at just the right spot that the dagger it started making the cow come apart. And make sure for stroke order, just for SGJL. And I'll tell you what, we'll do it one more time. We'll do it one more. And we're going to do it like that stroke, so you kind of know what the stroke orders are for cow. Because remember, sitting cow, the cow sitting on the ground is different. It's different than the this cow, which is standing up in the field. All right, and this is unravel. And it's up to you. I mean, to me, this is, I've heard of Rikai, so, which is Ri is reason, and then this is the Kai. Is this the Ri? Yeah. All right, so, yeah, logic and unraveling. Logic unraveling, Rikai. Next kanji, or last kanji, really. Okay, now we're going to have to go over discussion, or an argument or something, or in this case, so argument and discourse. So this is argument or discourse. Yeah, words flying. This is dealing with committees. So this is ron, argument, discussion, dispute. It could be a written discussion or a talking discussion. So here we have is ronjo, proof, certain truth, demonstration. So probably given at a. We have Udon-sho, I'm sorry, Udon-sho, proof, certain truth, demonstration. Udon-shi, point of the argument, drift of the argument. We have is Udon-ni, which is Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il. I'm so Udon-ni. No, okay, so Udon-ni, logical. Then we have is Giron, an argument discussion. Usually I think in Giron, that's at the Dai or the Japanese Congress is places with Giron, your discussion, dispute, controversy. And yeah, Ron. You can see it's speaking, so you can tell that's where argument comes in. So definitely maybe arguing over the cell phone. And then right here you learn is committee. So this is like an argument. So the committee, they're all on their cell phones arguing with each other, and also people on the other end of the lines. So argument. Let's go with the words fly back and forth as members of the committee make their arguments. So I visualize definitely they're holding cell phones or at the microphones, and there's all the people in the microphones. They're arguing with each other, with the microphones. They're sitting in front of the committee. So we're going to learn that and committee. So let's get to this. So we got unravel again. Here we have is funnel, lecture, subscription, posture, gutter. Now here it's saying scrapbook, and then I tell you what, we'll keep it with scrapbook, but I'm you're probably gonna use it more as for meeting. Okay, so what he was saying is like, so we've got the glass scrapbook, so we want to do the glass hood, and then if you see the stroke order, make sure. Yeah, the vertical. So it's under the glass hood. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so imagine this was the glass canopy, or or if you want to, it's the monk's hood. And then, but you want to dry out some flowers. So you want to make a scrapbook collection of flowers. So maybe take the monk's hood off the monk, and then give it some flowers. Okay. And Yeah, and that's scrapbook. So now we want to do is, the next thing we want to learn is committee. So it's a meeting of scrapbook. So when you're holding a committee meeting, you want to make sure everyone brings a scrapbook with them to present their evidence at this committee. So let's hear this. So this will be committee. So we're going to do a meeting. Here committee, you're going to think meeting. Okay, and then at this meeting, they're all presenting their scrapbooks at this committee meeting. Alright, so we have scrapbook and we have committee. Next, and then the last bit was right here. Argument. Words, meeting, scrapbook. Alright, so obviously if you're going to have an argument, so now at this committee meeting, everyone's, they put microphones in front of everybody, so they were all got their scrapbooks open presenting their meeting, and they're all giving their argument. They're all giving their argument. Oh, let me go and do some parts. Okay, so there's the either microphone or if you want to, cell phone. Alright, there they are. And again, it's an argument at the committee. So what is the committee? But it's a meeting of people presenting their own personal ideas or scrapbooks. Okay, we'll do some parts. Alright, and that is argument. Argument. Don. Dondi. Alright, discussion. Trying to think. Don. Trying to think about that. Don Boon, I think, is yeah, something you give at a submission or your essay or something. Alright, so argument. And I think that's it. Alright, yeah, so we're back to go. Let's finish this all up. So we were at 35 minutes. Alright, and then plus another 18 minutes, so we're at 53 minutes. So this is a 53-minute lesson. It wasn't too bad. I kind of enjoyed it. Introduced to quite a few new primitives. And you probably noticed that, and again I do this quite a bit, is that I'm introducing primitives to me that were working for me that Heisig did not present. So, but there might be in the Japanese, in the reviewing the kanji community, that, you know, again, these are primitives that we kind of like adapted for ourselves because they felt like it worked better because we were seeing it appear in it. You hear some people say, well, why are you remembering that? Because it's only using like 3 kanji, and, you know, why don't you just remember those 3 kanji? It's hard to explain. It's just that, okay, hey, look, it just got the kanji in my head. It's weird. You've probably seen it before where you hear you just play one word or one scene, one picture, and all of a sudden the entire scene plays out in your head because, you know, again, your brain works that way. It just makes these weird and wonderful connections between visual elements, you know, because that's just the way your brain works. In fact, that is your memory. You don't really remember stuff. Memory is actually a memory of a memory. It's like you're just constantly kind of like the data is being reassigned constantly, and, you know, repackaged constantly, so it can stay in the head. That's why, and the brain can be wonderful. Where if you'd imagine you saw a show when you were like 10 years old, and you imagine that the actor in that show was, let's say it was Harrison Ford. All right, for some reason you just thought of it as being Harrison Ford. Then you found out later it was like Nicholas. It was like not Nicolas Cage, but you know, another actor. Let's say Tom Cruise. And all of a sudden, you could be remembering. You remember for the longest time that was always Harrison Ford, and you picture Harrison Ford all the time. So when you think back in the movie, your brain puts Harrison Ford's face in that movie, and then sometime later you watch the movie again, and all of a sudden you saw it was never Harrison Ford. It was Tom Cruise. But your childhood brain just, you know, associated that. You didn't know who the actor was. You later learned of Harrison Ford. You just associated that actor with that movie, and again, it's a false memory of sorts. In a way, it's a harmless false memory, but it's one nonetheless. And it's just the way your brain works. You know, again, it's kind of like you probably, when you think back in your childhood, if you grew up with your brother or your sister and you all grew up together, you probably don't remember them as. When you picture them in the memory back then, you don't remember them as kids. For some reason, your brain remembers them as adults, but you're doing childlike things. Just because that's how your brain has processed the data. It wants to minimize how much information it saves on older brother or older sister for you. So yeah, And it's an interesting thing about kanji is that, again, kanji is picture logographs or something. You know, it's basically essentially like talking with emojis, and your brain can process the information really fast. So that's when, again, you can see Japanese reading or Chinese reading their text very fast because they're just essentially downloading information. They're not really vocalizing it even. They just know, like, okay, here's the information, and they're just putting their head, and they can, you know, they're processing it much faster because they're not trying to vocalize it. I think I went over that yesterday. It's just, again, the brain is wonderful, and that's why these visual stories tend to work, even if you feel like maybe we're overthinking it. And do what works for you. I guess is what it boils down to. You don't have to do it this way. It's just a way I found worked for me, and a number of people found it works for them. So that's why they want to do it. If it's not working for you, please don't do it. I mean, yeah, definitely avoid. If it's not working for you, yeah, you definitely don't want to do it. But I just wanted to present something. Like I said, there's plenty of resources if you wanted to learn from a book, learn from again, they've got, you know, reference books where here's a kanji, here's like a bunch of words that use it, have at it. You can do it that way. There's no problem. Most people can, a lot of people do it that way. This method of treating kanji as a separate animal just seemed to work for people, or like myself, and it got me into really wanting to learn Japanese better. I felt that it got my to where my reading is stronger than my speaking because, you know, I'm gathering information from Japanese text that, you know, you're not going to get from just hearing it. It's a good weakness to have. I guess I could suggest it, and that was stupid for me to click exit. Alright, come back. There we are. Remembering the kanji. Let's go into it. Alright, so we're going to do lesson 36. Here we are. We are an hour and 16 minutes into the stream. It's a nice, bright, sunny day here in Japan. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. The sun is shining bright. Probably can see Fuji-san off into the distance if I look out on my balcony. Yeah, it's a good day. Let me go through here before I start again. I'm not going to really take a break. Okay, so let's do a refresh here. Let's close this guy out. Let's just go for the... Okay, and let's just go to new. Alright. Come on. I wonder who that actress is. Come on. Let's see. No, not seeing anything. No. We'll say, I think it was it on here or a different one? No. I guess it was on a different one. Oh, somebody said, oh, he did it as a different post. That's why I think I remember now. Let's see, good place to start when learning Japanese basics. Purpose of koto, studying by cards, no, modular, possible. Second con, this, what was that? Oh, okay. Particle, expression, can get, learn, effective, how do you pronounce. And this is what I did for this guy. This is just for fun. Somebody asked, how do you pronounce Zen? Well, okay, this is why I'm saying don't depend upon just the text. So what I did for that... Zenbu. Zenbu.
Zentai.
Zentai. And...
Gozen.
Gozen. And let him figure it out from there. So that was the idea. I guess somebody else had a discussion, and that was okay. That's what I think is like what I like about the course I'm trying to assemble here is like trying to lean up on that Core 2K6 a little bit too much, but really good to hear it as opposed to trying to guess it from the text, because that's probably causing problems is people guessing how to pronounce Japanese only from text-based sources. And Genki, I think they have audio CDs. I don't know if they have full audio for all their entries for their. I wish I should know a bit more about Genki, and I don't. I apologize, but I have heard they do have a student CD that covers what they should be hearing. And when I was teaching English, I really encourage parents, say, you know, get these kids, get them to listen to that CD, hear real English pronunciations. Don't try to guess it from just looking at the text. Although the kids couldn't read anyway, so it didn't matter. They were like 4, 5, 6 years old. I don't think we had to worry too much about them reading English text too much. I did teach them how to read eventually, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much, so that's all good. If that's it, let me just go and let's look at what we're covering today for this last lesson for today. So let's see, we got family name. That's used in a few things. Okay, and that's kind of a variant of that. Let's see, we're going to learn city walls, sort of like Eiffel Tower. Okay, we're going to learn stapler. That's good. We're going to get ship. Alrighty. And then let's see, we're going to learn plate, and then rice seedling here. And then and then this very weird looking kanji here that's used in everything. Very common kanji, but it's kind of weird in how it's designed. Kind of like an airplane as well. It has a weird look to it that you don't see on. You see variants of it in portions of it in each other kanji, but the way it's designed, put together itself is kind of odd. All right, yeah, there should be more than doable. Yeah, let's attack it. Getting there. We're almost done. We're getting there. Can you feel it, guys? Can you feel it? Alrighty. So lesson 36. We're going to say it's 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 55 seconds. Still the 15th. And I'll be going on YouTube and getting these up soon. And then also I'll be getting them put it into the this actual course as for the multimedia portion. Welcome back. This is Nuke Marine presenting the suggested guide for Japanese literacy course series for Memorize. We are currently on course 3, which is Remembering the Kanji Optimized, that presents the 555 kanji in Cosmos series Kanji 2001 Kanji Odyssey Book 1, and then presents those kanji in the Remembering the Kanji order. Okay, so we're saying kanji a lot. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking it, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And again, trying to make content daily now, or close to daily. And lastly, if you're enjoying this series, consider sharing it on multimedia, either Reddit, although probably people on Reddit already know about this, but Reddit, Twitter, Facebook. Not only share about this as a resource, but maybe also share about if you want to be talking about your progression through Japanese. All right. So currently we are on lesson. This is lesson 36. We're one lesson away from finishing this particular course off. This will be by the time you're done, 540 kanji will have been covered. So you're over the 500. You've been over the 500 mark for a couple lessons now, and yeah, you should be getting excited. Like I said, you're going to be approaching a point of it's going to be something radically different to what you have been doing. Now you've been hearing some Japanese words. You've already experienced Japanese words in the remembering the hiragana and remembering the katakana. So you're hearing them, and if you've been reviewing them, you've probably been hearing them quite a bit. And I've been going over some Japanese words when I've been introducing these courses. But now you're actually, after these are done, this course and this lesson and the next lesson, when you're done with that, you got those into your memorized review system, you're going to be going on to grammar and attacking that head on. It's going to take you about 10 hours to get through, hopefully 10 to 20 hours to get through Taikim, and then you're going to be moving on into vocabulary. Vocabulary is going to be fun because it's not only learning words, but you're going to learn how to listen to sentences that use those words. So about 500 vocabulary words, 500 sentences that utilize those vocabulary words, for listening training. Right? And you're going to go back to some grammar and then learn some more vocabulary words, and maybe then go on to learn some more kanji. So again, this is keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward. Try to avoid the idea. Hey, again, these are meant to be designed to be short enough to where you don't feel like, oh, you're losing out on something and you need to take up something else. You can concentrate pretty much only on this, and then use the rest of your day filling it up with enjoyment or entertainment, not studying of Japanese. This should be the thing. If you got time to study, well, then study this a bit more and keep pushing further and further into it. And get it, because you want to get past this whole basics, and the basics is actually a very long pathway. It's 200, 300 hours of active studying, to try to get you to that point where all of a sudden you have the ability to use Japanese to learn Japanese if you wanted to go that path, and we're trying to get you there. So right now you're going to be about 40 hours into it. 40 hours into that 200 or 300 hour path that, you know, again, we got set aside for you, set up for you. But it is doable. It's attainable. All right. People have done it before you. Hopefully people can do it after you, and you're going to do it. All right. So let's do it. Let's get on to it. So this is lesson 36. Preview. All right. Same thing. Heise keyword has a rough meaning to what the kanji is. Also with this keyword, brings up the little story here that helps you write the kanji from memory. In addition to, again, Japanese vocabulary. Don't memorize vocabulary. You'll be learning that really soon. In fact, this kanji, I think this word you're going to be learning in the next course. It's part of the next course. But again, don't memorize this vocabulary here. Don't memorize pronunciation yet. That will be happening. All right. So this is paper. And pretty much like a newspaper or a paper you write to a friend. Just, yeah, flat little, made from wood pulp paper. Kami. Now, kami has, it's different words for kami, like hair, god, upper reaches. But in this case, paper. The third entry, kami, is paper. Shimen. First word, a space of a page. Yoshi. A blank form. Yoshi. Shinbunshi, a newsprint or a newspapers, or maybe a page of the newspaper. So Shinbun is the newspaper, so this could be a page of the newspaper also. All right, so this is we're bringing back Spider-Man, and we're going to learn is God damn it. Okay, sorry. I just realized something. This is the kanji we're learning first. Let me go in. I got all excited. Sorry about that, guys. Let me. There we go. Family name. Okay. So yeah, so this is family name. So this is surname. Now, surname meaning is like the name of your family and clan. Because you have a namae is like your kind of like your given name, your first name, and then shime would be your full name, and then meishi. Let's see, myoji would be your full family name. Myoji. Okay, but anyway, so here we have his family name, surname, your clan name, not your Christian name, not your first name, but your last name. In this case, in Japan, family names are put first, and your personal names are put second. Okay, so anyway, so this is uji, family name, lineage, your birth, or shi, Mr., Mrs., or references. Shime, second word, full name, your identity. So yeah, shime. Myoji is just the last name, or just the family name. But anyway, name or identity. Seishi. Am I not seeing it? Oh, there it is. The fifth word, full name or family name. Boshi. That's not hat. Oh, it is hat, but what are we looking for? Okay, the seventh word, boshi, a certain person, an unnamed person. Okay, so Plo is it actually optimal to memorize isolated kanji in all their readings? No. Plo, no, it is not optimal to learn the readings in isolation. Because then when you learn vocabulary words, if you see a word, you don't know if you're pronouncing it correctly. If you're using the wrong pronunciation. So it's best to learn pronunciation in context of the vocabulary word itself. And the way I've got when I get to the vocabulary, if you see the way I've got it sorted, it's sorted by kanji that's contained within the words. You're going to be figuring out the onyomi and kunyomi pronunciations for these kanji in a very structured manner that's going to make sense. Okay? Yeah, don't learn it in isolation. I seriously don't recommend it. That's what we're keeping this meanings that we're learning in isolation. The writing of it we're learning in isolation. Yeah, but you don't need to learn. But that's the same reason that people in China didn't need to learn Japanese in order to learn kanji. They learned their kanji in Chinese, and the people in Korea learn their kanji in Korean. So in this case, we're learning our kanji in English. So that's the idea here. But ultimately, we're learning kanji for the purpose of learning Japanese. So that's why I'm introducing these words. Okay, so this is family name. So we have drop, ho, which is, I think it's one stroke, bow, one, and then bow, or basically bow and arrow, or arrow and bow. Anyway, family names. Let's just go to Heisig real quick, and we'll talk about that. So here we have previous word we learned was argument. We have ethics, wheel, partial, everywhere, compilation, comb. And it says it's written a little differently. Code, kind of like vendor there. Now we have his family name. Now, if you see the strokes, it's sort of like the stroke for axe, the first stroke for axe, and then the first two strokes of axe, and then the strokes for arrow and bow. So yeah, family name. Let's just draw it. There's really not too much you can do to it. You can just kind of remember it. But if you want to, it's like if you think of a clan. So think of the if you think the first stroke is the hood, and then this is the the hoe of a farming clan. So it's a house, so maybe that's the house, the roof of the clan. The hoe is the tools of the clan, and then of course you need to protect the clan. So you got the arrow, and then the bows to shoot it with. All right, and this is family name. So family name. So you got the little cloak that maybe that could also be the drop representing the colors of the clan or the flag of the clan, and then the hoe, the tools, bow and arrow, the weapons of the clan. Family name. Okay, and if you want to call it a family name, you can. You can also refer to it as a clan. I've been using family name. All right, so that's that for that. Let's keep up. All right, so we're gonna get back to Spider-Man again and page preview. All right, so let me go over the Spider-Man and page thing again. So we got this is paper. We already said it's Kami, Shimen, space of a page, Yoshi, a blank form, Shimbushi. So anyway, this means paper, and we have Spider-Man and family name. So here's a story that uses it. Spider-Man doesn't have a single paper with his family name on it because he doesn't want it to reveal his identity. Or Spider-Man is very careful trying to keep his family name out of the paper. That because there was actually a comic part of the comic book where he did reveal his identity, and then his Aunt May got killed, got shot, and was mortally in critical care, and so he was given the deal with the devil, like, hey, make everything revert back to normal, and then she gets saved. Or, anyway, it was a very, very bad comics ending for a comic, that particular series of comics, but called One More Day. Anyway. Let's go down. So we have family name, and we have paper, thread, and family name, or Spider-Man and family name. So yeah, so we hear paper. Think of paper. Think of the paper. You can think of the newspaper. You can think of it as Spider-Man. So there's Spider-Man. Let's do it in two parts. Welcome back, Spider-Man. And he's always trying to keep his family name out of the paper. So he wants to keep his identity secret. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, paper. Next kanji. Alright, now we have is a woman. Family name, day. And this is marriage. This story writes itself. This should be a very easy kanji to remember. Okay, so anyway, this is marriage, as in the binding of a woman and a husband and a wife. Marriage. Yeah, so this is a kon. So marriage and promise, engagement, but konyaku, engagement, betrothal, kekkon, binding and marriage, which is the actual kanji, the word for marriage, kekkon, and shinkon, which is new in marriage or newlywed, shinkon. You can kind of see how these kanjis start. If you start understanding what these kanjis are individually, these words kind of start making sense. And when you get the vocabulary, it's like, there will be a few exceptions that annoy you, but for the most part, the kanjis used in words are related to the meaning of that word, which makes it that much easier when you get to it. But anyway, marriage. So we have woman, family name, day. Marriage is the day. Marriage for a woman is the day her name is changed. Okay, so marriage is a day in this woman's life where she gets a new family name. Now you can do with the story to make sure it's like woman, family name changed. So marriage is when the woman changes her family name to a new family name on that special day. So you can say woman, family name, day. So you don't get these two mixed up in the direction they have to draw if you're drawing from memory. Okay, let's go to Isaac real quick. Okay, so we got paper, we got marriage, woman, family name, day. Good. Let's do it. So we have woman, Ku, or Wonder Woman. You can also say Wonder Woman. So she goes from being princess, to changing her name from woman, and then Kunoichi right there. And Day becomes maybe Mrs. Rogers. I think she, like, what was it, Steve Rogers is who she was married to. I don't know. I haven't really read Wonder Woman comics for a long time. Alright, so this is marriage. Marriage. Next kanji. Alright, now we're going to do lower. We're going to find out that part is, there's Batman and there's, we'll find out his calling card. So we have Batman, family name, calling card. But this is lower. So this means to lower, short, humble. Humble oneself, look down. Also means could be like short in stature, hikui. Like Seiga Hikui, like he's a very short person. So that's what hikui is. So short in height. There's also, not to be confused with Mijikai, which is short. There's Teikyu, low grade, vulgar. Is there anything else? Nope. There's Teiki, Teikiao, Teikiatsu, 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 low atmospheric pressure. So Teikiatsu. And cyclone, bad temperature, bad temperature. Let's see, do we have any other teis? No. Ko-te. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th word. Ko-te, high and low, rise and fall. So ko and te. Okay, the highs and lows, rise and falls. That makes sense. Now we have Batman and calling card, which is family name and floor. Lower your eyes. The Batman put his well-known calling card, his bat shurikens. The criminal lowers his eyes and backs away. So, or whatever. So don't look the Batman in the eye. So lower your head and look at the shuriken on the ground. You know, okay, you fucked up. So whatnot. So that's calling card. So let's go with the Heisey real quick. We're going to cover calling card, then go into. So that's right here, family name and floor. So calling card would be, you know, whenever you want to pass your calling card, you want to drop it on the floor, and people have to go and pick it up. So it'll see your turn it over, and there'll be the family name. So let's draw that real quick, and then we're going to do lower. Okay, so let's we'll keep it to here. Yeah, sure, why not? So let's do calling card. So it's going to be family name. So we're going to do that in 2 parts, sure. And this is still 4 strokes. Okay, so I do family name, and then this part is a little shorter, and then this part's a little longer because there's the one, that next one right there could represent the calling card that's on the ground that mentions the family name. You can kind of see that in here's the stroke order. So you can kind of see 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. Okay, now we're going to do is lower. Okay, so when you think of lower, think of Batman saying, "Lower your eyes, don't look at me." 1, 2, look at the ground. That's where you're gonna. That's where your face is gonna be. Lower. So there's the Batman. There's calling card. So we're gonna say calling card is his bat shurikens, or batarang, or whatever heck it's gonna be called. Okay, so this is hikui. Okay, good. And when this was like, I was using this as Marine Corps Center, I was like, okay, or maybe Batman stops somebody, it's like, who are you? You know, identify yourself. So he says, guy calls out his family name, all right, present your ID. So the guy takes out his ID from his wallet and lower it on the ground, lowers it on the ground, and back away, you know, and backs away. So yeah, that could be another way to do it, like presenting your ID to the Batman so he doesn't beat you up. Like, you are who you say you are. All right, people. Now this is family name, but as under a flag. If need be. So yeah, the flag represents the family name, all families, you know, not just one family, but the entire family name of the country, if you want to. So anyway, people, a nation, subjects of that nation. So here we have is Tommy, a nation or people or nations. Minzoku, folk customs, folk ways, ethnic customs. There's also a second word, Minzoku, people, race, or a nation. Minshuteki, Democratic, I guess it's the name for the Democratic Party. Minshuteki. Okay. Minshuteki. Should be Minshuteki. Okay. Kokumin. Nation, nationality, citizens, or people. Okay. There we go. Okay, so the mouth has many asking the right of the family name resulted from same being people to the same. I don't know. Let's see how it's written. If it could be written more like flag, we'll do it that way. So you see how it's written more kind of like flag, along with family name. So I'm thinking like the flag, and the people is basically the family. The flag is think of the flag of the nation, and that's the people of that nation. It's the family name of the nation. I like that better. Let's see what Heisig says. So this is here we have his calling card. Lower, resist, bottom, people, drop a mouth. In place of the drop at the start is the people's name, Vax Populi. I don't know. I was thinking like a mixture of flag and people's names. Alright, so you think of the people. Think of the flag that represents the people, you know. Nation's flag. Okay? Not one family, but all family names. So let's do that. So this is family name, or people. People. Alright, that's people. People. Let's see. Paul is saying that's a stretch. Which part? The Batman lower or the people, the flag representing the people? The family, all the family names of the people, not just one family name. I don't know. Whatever works for you, man. We can you can change the story up on however you want it, man. So again, this can be changed. You can choose another name, go write your own if what's working for you works. Some of these you don't even have to, if it just don't even need a story, like it just the kanji itself just clicks with you with that, boom. You know, sometimes people do this. All right, we're gonna learn his muzzle. I think we already covered muzzle before. We'll cover it again, and then we're gonna learn his city walls. Okay, so anyway, this is section. Could be a section of a bureau, department, your class. Could be also a part or a portion of a project or an item. Counter for copies of newspapers or magazines. So this is boo, department and organization. Right. So here we have is boo-boon, a portion, a section, or a part. So this like of the whole boo-boon. This one part of it. Zenbu, everything, the entirely. So all parts together. Zenbu, all together. You also have the second word is the front part, Zenbu, but that's not as common. And third one, table of food. I haven't heard that before. Honbu, headquarters, head office, the main office. Okay. So let's attack. So we got muzzle and city walls. Each section of the city has muzzled guard dogs to patrol the city walls. Yeah, for each muzzle. I don't know about Hannibal Lecter. Oh, okay, I know why. Hannibal, like Hannibal at the gates, so I think they're doing Hannibal for Hannibal. That's a stretch there. But yeah, if that works for you, sure. Anyway, let's go look at the stories real quick. So we have the people, we have sleep, dog tag, catch, bay, bull rush. It's kind of like cattails. Stop, supplement. Now here we have a city walls. Now it looks like pinnacle, but it's on the other side. So let's draw that real quick. Okay, so if it's on the left side, 1, 2, 3, this is pinnacle or some type of like Eiffel Tower. If it's on the right side, 1, 2, 3. Notice how? Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, no, it's still done the same. Stroke order is still done the same, right? I'm not. Something feels wrong there. Yeah, I thought. Okay, it is drawn the same way. Okay, I thought something felt wrong. Me doing that. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so ignore that. So it's again. So it's on the right side. 1, 2, 3. Now it becomes city walls. Now it's city walls. It's not the center of the city. It's the outskirts of the city. The wall protecting, and in the center could be the big Parthenon or something that is the center of the city that represents the the clock tower or the church or whatever you want to do, or Eiffel Tower. It's the center of the city. City walls protect the city. If you ever played Civilization, this is an easy thing to visualize. Okay, so we got there. We got the city walls. All right, so you can just do any type of visual for city walls. Now we got residence, enclosure, county, outskirts. Now here we have is section. So here we're going to do, so if you remember for section, or first thing we want to remember is, like, remember we had like the vase, that here's the vase and it was put over the mouth of people, of dogs or something, so it becomes a muzzle. Muzzle sort of looks like a vase or something, so you can actually talk or something. But or maybe if you want to do this for Bane, if you want to keep the comic book characters in there, this is Bane from Batman. No one thought of me until I put on the mask, or something. Do you feel in charge? I am doing a very bad Bane impression. Tell me, do you feel in charge? It would be very painful for you. Okay, anyway, let's do this. So let's do outskirts. Okay, sorry. Section. Okay, so this section of the city wall. So think of like guard dogs, muzzled guard dogs, are patrolling this section of the city wall. So let's do muzzled Guard dogs. Those would be the muzzled guard dogs, and they're guarding this section of the city walls. Boom. All right, and that's section, or this part, this area, or this part. Next kanji. Here we have is Metropolis. Now this is, if you ever seen the movie Metropolis, the reason why I thought of this when this was Love Doll, there was a movie called Metropolis. Part of it is a visual of that is this female robot that was, dancing, and then I think she kept order within the city walls of the Metropolis. Anyway, this is the toe of Kyoto, and also Toshi is a symbol of a metropolis in itself. So anyway, Metropolis, capital sometimes. Miyako is capital or metropolis. You can see there's two different kanji. We already know capital for it. Here we have is Tokai, city. Tokai, city. Toshin, first word. The city center, the center of the city, urban center, heart of the city. Shuto, capital city. And also Kyoto, you're going to hear, it's very common to hear. Sugo, circumstance, condition. Sudo, every time, whenever. That's where it kind of gets. These right here has to do with situations. It has nothing to do with the meaning of metropolis. So yeah, usually sugo, you're going to learn that as an early vocabulary word. But anyway, ever heard that movie Metropolis? It's usually advertised as a robotic female Pinocchio. Yeah, I was using love doll. So in this case, the sex doll or the love doll, keeping the again the inhabitants of that city pacified through her entertainment. Make sure that their boring life is. So yeah, Metropolis. Let's do this. Someone city walls. So love doll city walls. All right. So let's do the love doll. Okay, which is kind of like the what the old man likes to spend his day. Having sex with the love doll. If you want to do that visual, sure. All right. In this case, this was like the robotic love doll in the city in the movie Metropolis, which kept the inhabitants of the city pacified. Metropolis. Love doll and city walls. Next kanji, mail. Okay, I like this. Unfortunately, because I when I learned this, I was thinking of what was called the mailman or the postman with Kevin Costner, and that was a visual of this droop in city walls because he was delivering mail to the city walls because they wouldn't let him through, so he had to dig into his droopy bag to kind of grab it up. But anyway, we're going to learn droop and we're going to learn city walls. So we're going to droopy city walls. So this is Droopy the dog. If you want, okay, that's why they're using this as Droopy the dog. If you've ever seen cartoons, Droopy dog is kind of like a little white dog, long black ears. This talk very, very, very slow talking dog. I have to deliver the mail. Okay, so let's go with the meaning here. So this is mail. Could mean a stagecoach stop or a mail delivery. This uses the U of yubin kyoku. Or yubin for mail. So here we have is yubin, mail or postal service. Yubin kyoku would be the post office. Yuzo, the mailing. Then we have is yuken, second word, postage stamp. There we go. Mail ticket, postage stamp. Mail. So let's go over. Let's see what Isaac has to say. So he's got here droop. So I have to teach you droop real quick. Now this is going back to when we learned silage. The silo. Okay. So imagine for droop. So what you want to do is you could think of like wheat silo. A wheat silo, and it's drooping when it when you put too much, when you're filling up with too much. Okay. So it's the wheat silo. When you think of droop, in other words, just imagine like there's just too much. Let me make sure I'm getting the stroke order here correct. Okay, yeah, so the stroke goes last. All right. Okay, so this is droop. So it's a wheat silo. But in this case, it's maybe not a wheat silo, it's like a service silo. So it's like, think of this as the kind of a way to imagine that. You're going to have this guy here, which is, remember, was kind of like Alfred the butler, the attendant, or I forgot the porter, the attendant to Batman. So yeah, so this is Alfred the butler. And you ever notice how he droops as with A? So maybe this is like the Alfred on the farm, and he's been loading up wheat all the time. So now that's what think of a droop as in his shoulder is drooping, and he's talking slow. If you want to do Droopy the dog, you can do that as well. But oh, sorry, let's do this in parts. So anyway, so we have 1, 2, 3. So anyway, let's do this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we want to do that center part. So now we're kind of like measuring this, and then we want to finish it off. So this is droop. And whatever you want to do for your story, it could be Droopy the dog or whatnot. Yeah, Droopy the dog. And if you want to think of story of Droopy, think of Alfred, how he's drooping over in his old age because he's been loading up wheat into the silo all the time, you know, to help feed Batman and his workout regime. Okay, so now we want to do Droop or Droopy the dog, and now we want Droopy the dog at the city walls delivering the mail. So again, you got to do the delivery. You got to go to city to deliver the mail because he's international mail, or maybe interstate mail. So we want to do Droopy the dog. When you think of mail, think of Droopy the dog as the mail carrier. We'll do this in parts, sure. Got Droopy the dog. Boom, 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 boom. Droopy the dog, and then Droopy the dog is delivering the mail to the city. He's telling the people who are stopping him at the city walls, say, I have to get in to deliver the mail to the city. Alright, so that's mail service, or mail. Ugh, that was a very hard story. Okay, so that's Droopy and city walls. Next kanji. Now we have his grade, so we're going to learn the stapler and missile. And then we have his grade. Now the grade means like each progressive step up. So that's where stairs come into play. Steps, also grade like quality or difference as well. So like danza would be difference in steps. Like there's a drop there, so be careful. So here we have some words that use it. So we have tan, variable measure of a fabric for kimonos. A step's a stair of steps. Stitches, columns, ranks. It could be a counter for breaks in a language. Okay. So here we have is dan naraku, a paragraph, ending, a stopping place. Okay. Kaidan, second word. Stairs, stairway, staircase. So this is grade. Yeah, it's actually probably better for staircase. But and then we have it shudan, means a way of measure. So this is grade. So some type of difference in it. So you've got civilian grade and military grade type armor or weaponry. This is where the story comes into play. This is a military grade staple gun. It's loaded with real missiles to poke holes in the really thick paper. Okay, so military grade stapler. Have you got my stapler? With a red line stapler. Okay, anyways, grade stapler. Now I don't think I taught stapler. I'm not quite sure. Let's go with this right here. Let's go with Heisig. All right, so we got male, home country, echo, hometown, echo, sun, corridor, drag. Now it looks, if you notice, this kind of looks very similar. We've already been drawing this often. I don't know why he's bringing this up. I mean, we've already been doing this for like axe. Okay, or family name. Although I guess because it's more of a curve, that's why. So I guess because it's more of a okay, I can see why now. He wants to do it more of a curve, like the peg leg. So droop, peg leg, drag. Okay, yeah. So you think about it, dragging a peg leg along the ground. Sure, drag. Okay, so here we have shield, sequential, faction, vein, masses, parcel post. Here we have his grade. Now, we're going to introduce this first part as staple gun, the one on the left, and then the right is missile. Alright, so let's do this. This is all one thing. Anyway, so let's do this in parts. Okay, so the first thing I want to show is like he had like the little drop or the droop there, and he wanted to make sure come down like a flowing, like the peg leg. So there, 2, 3, 4, and then finally we're going to do this as a 1, 4, and then finally the last one is 5. And that's what we're seeing here in the stroke. Right here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then kind of goes through it. And this one looks I guess he's drawing it straight, and it's up to Yeah, it looks like he's drawing it more straight than all that. I don't know. He should have kept it normal. All right, we're going to keep this as a... Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to go down and straight down. We're going to do the stapler. So 1, straight down, 2, straight down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one goes through the... Alright, so that's the stapler. That's the stapler. It's a now you think of grade, think of a military grade stapler. So a military grade stapler can fire missiles. Remember what missiles? There's the wind. Military grade stapler. Grade. You also think, you know, steps or something, but yeah, fire missiles from the crotch. Military grade stapler. Grade. It's also going to mean a difference or a relative difference and stuff, but grade. Next kanji. Okay, now we're going to be introducing with boat. So we're going to introduce boat and then all the ways to use that. So I think before I get to here, let me just get to boat and cover that, and then we'll worry about the kanjis that are used with boat. Okay, so we have grade, forge, empress. This is coat hanger. Okay, so we got drag and coat hanger. Okay, we can work with that. Phantasm, director, pay respects, parts of speech, domesticate, air. Okay, this is what we want, boat. Alright, so if you look at the stroke, so there's a little drop, which represents, so let's say, the smokestack of the boat. We got the little glass case, so that's the, we could say that that's representing the body of the boat. We got the little drop, or it could be in drop, which, how's he kind of working with it? You know, kind of like the 2 drops with Mama. And if you want to, you can kind of, and then finally that could be the stat or the mast of the boat. So however you want to work with this. All right, so let's first off teach you how to work boat. Okay, so one do the drop, and the drop can represent the little smokestack if it's that type of boat. One do the glass canopy. Okay, and then make sure I'm not. Yeah, so it is a glass canopy, or you know, again the pirate hood, or however you want to do it. So it could be the pirate boat. So that could be why the peg leg is there for the little boat. All right, so we want to do it then a center drop here, which could be maybe that represents the flag that's showing what boat it is, and then that could be that second stroke, little stroke here could be the, I don't know, the oars that are in the water for the boat. However you want to do it. All right, and then finally the vertical stroke. All right, this right here is boat. Let's see what Heisig is saying. Yeah, so yeah, this is boat, and it's going to be used in a few other kanji. So let's go back to where we were. Okay, so now we want to do navigate. So we got boat, we got hat and top hat, and we got wind, which we're going to learn is something else like a whirlwind. Anyway, so we got navigate. So that means to sail, cruise, or fly. So navigate. Yeah. Kokai, the third word, kokai, sail or voyage, kokai. So boat or navigate on the sea. That makes sense. Okay, we have is koku, so we have navigate in air, aviation or flying. Here we have is shuko, circumference and navigate, circumnavigation, circular tour of a city, shuko. So you can see now, like, yeah, I can look at each of these individual kanji, look at the word that says kanji, and again, the meaning just kind of screams out at you once you kind of get there. That's the benefit when you start getting into vocabulary. Even though I'm telling you not to remember it now, when you get to it, it's going to be a lot of fun to start learning these words. So you navigate, sail, fly, cruise. To navigate a boat through a whirlwind, the top hat being spun about in a whirlwind in the wind, takes a skilled navigator. The navigate, boat, whirlwind. Let's go with Heisig. So here we have his boat. We have liner, navigate, boat and whirlwind. And if I didn't teach you whirlwind just yet, let me just. All whirlwind was just imagine a big whirlwind was a top hat, you know, being caught up, being blown off the guy's head because a big whirlwind came, you know, blew it off his head. So that's whirlwind. So now what we want to do is navigate. So we want to do boat. Okay, well, we'll do drop end. And again, if you want to, it's a pirate boat. There's a drop. Don't forget, 1, 2, drop. 1, 2, and then the stroke. Now, of course, it's navigating the boat through the pirate boat, if you want to, through the whirlwind. So there's the top hat, navigate the pirate boat through the whirlwind. There's top hat, and there's the, that's ugly. There's the whirlwind. Okay. Really? Okay, I apologize about that. It might be my internet connection. Somebody's saying my internet audio keeps going in now. It might be my internet connection that's doing that. And that'd be a bad thing, and I apologize. Or hopefully it's a YouTube thing, and that the audio for this hasn't been affected. I really hate to think that this video got corrupted. I'm corrupted enough as is. Let's see. Anyway, that's navigate. We got boat, whirlwind, navigate. Next kanji. Now we have boat and missiles. Now, when you hear carrier, you're going to think, oh, well, there you go, nuclear aircraft carrier, missile carrier. Not that type of carrier. This is carrier as in to carry something, to carry or all, or like to, yeah, it has a little different, more of a, not a military meaning, more of a, like actually holding something. So let's say, here we have is a shohan, which is the fourth word, various or several. So no real meaning there. Ippon, that's a general, liberal, universal. It carries a senpon. Sometime like that. So yeah, these words aren't really giving a real meaning, but this is like to transport something. That type of carrier. Even though they don't carry, even though it doesn't carry that meaning in these words being given. So carrier, carry, and all. But anyway, when you hear carrier, if we want to, you can think of a missile boat carrier of all the missiles that are carried aboard an aircraft carrier, or all the missiles that are carried among a missile carrier, if you want to. So think of carrier, you can think of a boat, missile carrier. That's probably another visual. Let's see, carrier, boat, missile. Let's draw it. Okay, so here carrier, think of a boat that carries a bunch of missiles, carrier. Alright, so let's do the boat. There's the boat. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. And I'm on a boat with a bunch of missiles. It's a missile carrier. There's the wind. There's the carrier. Wind in the crotch. And that's missile. So boat, wind, missile, or boat, wind, crotch, or boat, missile. Carrier. Alright, so we got boat, whirlwind, navigate, carrier. Next kanji. And we still got another boat. Now this is the actual kanji for ship. And this is where some guy who's a paranoid guy, who's trying to say, well, this is proof that Noah exists as a story, because the Chinese word for ship is boat and 8 mouths. Because you can see boat and 8 mouths. And, well, yeah, but when this kanji first came about, it didn't look anything like this. It just evolved to it within recent centuries. Anyway, ship. And this, again, a ship or a boat. Fune. Now you notice one you see the second one and the third one are both fune, but a ship, a boat, watercraft. Normally, though, this is the kanji for boat that is used. Here we have is senpaku, ship. Josen, second word. Second and third word. Josen, embarkation, boarding. And kisen. And this is the first word, a steamship, a steamboat. So you have kisha is a steam train, so kisen is a steamboat. Same as josha, or would have been boarding a vehicle or boarding a train. So josen is boarding a boat. And then senpaku. Okay, anyway. So yeah, this is in some ways, again, kanji can be a word. So there's a boat, and this right here is sometimes referred to as gully. So you say a ship, is a ship big enough that it's crewed by 8 people, so you have to feed all their mouths, if you want to do that type of visual. And what he also says is gully. A boy imagine a toy boat, isn't little gully is big enough. I don't know. Maybe food trough sounds better for instead of gully. Let's go with let's go look at Heisig and what he's talking about. So anyway, so we got liner, navigate, carrier, tray, conveyor. Here's ship. So boat and gully. This is what he means by gully. Is 8. So 8, and then under here is mouth, and then he was trying to say this is like a gully, like a little U-shaped area, the waterway that things can travel down. Gully, but you also think of 8 mouths, so that works as well. So we think of boat, we can think of a boat that's crewed by 8 people. It has to be at least big enough to where it needs a crew of 8 people. So there's the boat. It has eight mouths. It has 8 people or 8 mouths to feed. Well, also means it has to be big enough to store the food. So it's big enough to where it needs 8 people to run it, but it needs to be big enough to store the food to feed all 8 mouths. They're right there. And if you want to, that also means gully. If you want to create a story for that, because it does appear in the in other kanji. All right. Also, Red Rascal. Is my audio still going out in and out, or is it seem to be stabilized now? Okay, so there's ship. Next kanji. All right, now we're going to do benefit. So we got animal horns and animal legs. So and then plate. Okay, so anyway, here we have his benefit. Could be a gain, a profit, an advantage. Some words that it's used on. In this case, yaku or eki, a benefit, use, a good or advantage. Here we have is ueki, first word. Beneficial, profitable. Okay, ekiin, I think is a, well, I know there's eki for store as well, but let's see. The eki, profits, gains, benefits. Really, masuru. I don't know. I think it's because it picked a different word to me. Godiaku. Grace of God, divine flavor, divine favor, blessing, miracle. So diaku, I guess, is a blessing or a favor, and then godiaku is an honorable one, so form of godlike. But anyway, so this is benefit. The benefit of having sharp horns and fast legs is that an animal can get to the food dish first. Or another way, it's like the benefit of the horns and the legs is it keeps you off of the dinner plate for humans. You know, you gotta be able to. Animals gotta use their natural abilities to keep off the humans' dinner plate, if you want to. Or in this case, food dish first. Divine flavor. Okay, so here we have a. Let's see, so what we have is warship. What we have? Okay, ship, warship, and this is I've been in the military, so yeah, this is Kan, and it's like Sensui Kan, which is submarine. Kubo Kan, there's like sky, the aircraft carrier or other things, but yeah. I became familiar with this kanji in my Navy life. Rowboat, melon. Yeah, okay. It looks like claw, but with the lobe there. And this arc. That's easy enough. Orphan. Here we have is. I guess this is where he's going to say this is where stuff starts getting really, really, really weird. So here is like cocoon. Like this is benefit. Benefit's not too difficult. Let's just cover it. What does he say here? Poised to dish a pair of animal horns and animal legs, or by a single horizontal stroke. Poised over a dish. I don't know. So you say benefit. It was through the benefit of the horns and legs to stay off the dinner plate. So let's do the animal horns, and then let's say there's the little body of the animal. All right, there's little animal horns. There's little animal legs. All right, and it's through the benefit of horns and fast legs that they, kept off of the dinner plate. Alright, that's benefit. Benefit. Eki. Next kanji. And I think this is the last one, right? Come. Okay, so this is kudu. Now, this is used in a what's called. There's two irregular verbs that are used in Japanese. Suru and I think it's suru and kudu. So this is one of them. So this is going to be used. But also is a reference to the future, something to come, something that's about to happen. So come, due, next, cause, or become. So this is in the future, like mirai, yet not yet to see, or seeing not yet, or it will be not yet come, mirai. So here we have is kuru, to come, and that means it's in reference to your location. So if you're going, then you go iku. If they're coming. It's usually in reference to it depends on it's in reference to. So whether are you going or are you coming, depending on point of view of who you're talking in reference to. That'll happen. You'll learn that in grammar when you get into grammar. So anyway, so that's kudu. Let's see, kitaru, kitasu. Don't really know that one. Here we have is dainen, next year. So dai, to come, the year to come. Dai daireki. History, career. Okay. And let's see, Odai, coming and going. Correspondence, street traffic. But yeah, it says like Daishu next week, Daigetsu next month, Dainen next year. But yeah, so we're at come one, come all. Do not yet have your animal horns. So here we have it's not yet in animal horns. So come. So basically, imagine someone had to come to the, you know, when God was creating, you know, when God was creating animals, and you had to come to pick up. People had to come. They have not yet had their horns. They had to come to the creation party in order to get their animal horns put in there. So that's where God was handing out the animal horns for people, to the animals who actually came to Him. I guess. I mean, however you want to do it, because this really is like horns under not yet. Let's see what Isaac has to say. So we got benefit, spare time, right here on the just for just pointing out something. This right here on spare time, you're going to find out. You're going to run into kanji. If you understand, is that it's a more older form of a kanji that has been changed in the future or changed in recent years, recent centuries, as opposed to 1,000 years ago. Something like this right here. Let me just show you. This is spare time. This is an example. And this is totally off subject, but anyway. So this is kind of what you're seeing here. I think it was a box, and then did I see that right? Yeah, box. Okay, I had box backwards, but had the backwards box. Okay, so you have this backwards box, and then you have crotch. This actually, if you look at it, was actually kind of like that. It was actually what we would seen. I'm sorry. You kind of see it. Actually, it's kind of like this. So you might actually sometimes see this right here, an older form of eating, or you might. This is like an older form that evolved into this, and then this right here evolved into this. You kind of see it, but you have to go off with the way the Japanese are using kanji, not how you feel like they should change it. They're not going to change their written language to your benefit. Sorry. Okay, so anyway, let's go back onto the subject. Sorry. So this is spare time, spread, come. Now this is a very important kanji because it's not yet with a pair of animal horns. You can think of a story if you want to. Anyways, but we're going to do, here's this, and then come. And then we finish off the not yet. So we come here and get your animal horns. Not yet, I'm eating or something, I don't know. Okay. Have you gotten your animal horns yet? Not yet. Not yet. Okay. That's kudu, to come. And this is going to be a very common, you're going to get used to this. Get used to that kanji. You're going to be using it a lot. Or seeing it a lot, at least. Come. I think next is going to be spirit. This should be the last kanji. And this is an important kanji as well. This is one you're going to use a lot. So if you ever heard of "Hi, genki desu," or "I'm great," "Kiyoskete," or "take care." This is spirit. This has spirit, mind, or kind of soul. Spirit, mind, soul. Well-being. This has more ethereal essence, not your. Yeah, it's going to be using a lot of words. So in other words, so this is ki, spirit, mind, heart, nature, disposition, motivation, intention. Kind of like say. So in fact, seiki is like your actual kind of like your personality. And this what's that, seikaku, and that's also seikaku. Okay, so you got ki, gi, your animal like, your like nature, your something like disposition, something like temper. So you put this at the end of a word, and it's saying it has that type of personality. Ge, sign indication. Ge, ke and ge, seeming, giving the appearance of. Like samuge. Samuge means it feels, or I gotta chill. Okay, so here we have some words that use this. So here we have is kitai, third word, vapor, gas. Really? Okay. I haven't heard that word before in that context. Here we have is kiko, second word, climate. Genki. Now this is a very popular word. You're gonna learn this early. In fact, you probably already know it now. But genki is like healthy, robust, vigor, energy. Hi, genki desu. Genki desu ka? Hi, genki desu. All right, let's see. Now we have it as ke. So ke-hai, indication, sign, hint, presence. Kishoku, third word, mood, humor, continence. Kishoku bamu. I don't know. Okay, hinoki. Nope, that's not coming up, so we're not going to worry about that. Anyway, so yeah, so there's going to be quite a few. In fact, it could also means vapor. So this is like key. No, okay, ignore that. That's a different type of key. All right. So anyway, so this is spirit. So you see, it's lay down one. Looks like the trailing part of wind, or what we kind of do for. Yeah, it's like the trailing part of the wind, and then X-Men Wolverine. So here's the story. I think this is my story. So reclined on the floor, below a great cliffs. Great or maybe windy cliffs. That's good because the cliffs is done in a different way. It says maybe been reclined on the floor as if and the wind blowing over him. And so instead of the great cliffs, it says and the wind blowing over him is Wolverine. His spirit so great he gets up and climbs up again to fight against the wind. So maybe it's like when the scene in X-Men 3. You know, well, actually there are a couple of really bad X-Men movies like Apocalypse, but let's say X-Men 3. And yeah, he got blown down by Jane Grey because she's going all Phoenix on her, Dark Phoenix on people, and then so he's blown down. He's lying down in front, but he's down to like one bone right there. Maybe he's down to one bone, but the wind's still blowing over him. But he's he's a Wolverine, so he repairs himself, gets up, and he's full of body and spirit. Let's look what Heisenberg got to say. Here's spirit. Spirit refers to changeable moods, airs of personality. Let's see, individuals. Let's see, reclining floor. Oh, he's calling fish hook. I guess that makes sense. And sheaf. Don't confuse it with spirits. All right. So let's start. So we think laying down with one thing on your mind. So laying down. There's Wolverine. He's in big spirits. He's still in big spirits. Even if he's down to one cell or one bone, he will still come back. Even if he's, hooked. Alright, because again, he's X-Men. He's the X-Man. So there's Wolverine. So laying down one, either fish hook or trailing wind. Kind of like when you're doing, yeah, it's the club foot. He's kind of like doing the club foot, but it's like a version of that. So trailing. Yeah, so trailing wind. That's like the trailing wind. Whew. I think that's it. So that's key. Get used to that kanji as well. That's a very common kanji. And yeah, it's like one of the last kanjis you learn in the book, but it's one of the first kanjis you use in grammar. Key. I think okay, there's family name, and we're done. So that was 45 minutes plus about the other 5 minutes. So again, this was another 50-minute lesson. We're up to about 2 hours 60 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. I think if I wanted to, no, I am going to save the last lesson for tomorrow. I want to have refresh my batteries before I go into another lesson. So I'll put down RTK 37 and have it in preparation for tomorrow. And then this entire video series will be done. Let me go to next. There's a review. And again, what you're supposed to be doing, and I guess I could have been warning people of this way ahead of time. It's like at the end of each video, so I'll say, yeah, now what you should do is go to this Memorize course and do the lesson for this that you watched in this video. Just I very guarantee if you did the lesson after watching this video, and if you're writing out the kanjis yourself on your own, it would probably be almost no problem. Like, hey, you see a kanji, you recognize what the Hazing's keyword is, or you see the keyword and you know which kanji they're talking about. That happens. It's up to you. Okay, so let's close this out or go to levels. Sure. All right, and we're going to cover the. Sorry. These are the last bits we're going to cover tomorrow, and these are all the weird looking kanji. These are things that just don't behave in right order. Oh, and also horse. We're going to be introducing horse. Yeah. This gets it's going to get a little funky tomorrow, so it might be a little longer than average lecture. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let's do a refresh on here. Let's do a refresh on here. Koto. See if anything popped up. And 2 people are watching in the stream, so hopefully I wasn't too boring. Let me go and put this away. I'm going to have to get back into doing my my actual reviewing, because again, this course series is fun and all, but the main reason I started this was to again get better in Japanese. So it does have to. I have to be selfish on this. This is most of this is going to be about me and my lessons, trying to get through this stuff here. Trying to finish this up, and in the process, though, if you get the benefit of if you can get the benefit, then all the better. So let's see what we have new. What is the purpose of koro in the sentence? 私はそれを 借りることはできますか? Oh, can I? Oh, well. Can you? Well, it means that's to lend it. I mean, kariru means to lend, borrow. I mean, can I borrow this? I am I able? Basically, he's asking, can I borrow this? Am I able to borrow this? Kodo. Where is he getting kodo at? I think he meant koto, and that's kariru koto. I mean, and dekiru wa dekimasu ka. That means able to borrow. That's his answer. Hopefully, somebody already answered that. And then what's happening here? Come here. Yeah, nothing new. All right, let's keep going. All right, so let's run one kanji. I'm sorry, one kana, one hiragana, one katakana. Sayu, sayu.
左右
Right and left. Sayu. Next. Okay. That's all good. Again, if you enjoyed the videos, lessons, which I did, again, consider liking it if you haven't already, and subscribing if you haven't already. Let's see. Remembering the kanji. Remembering the kana. Pasokon. Pasokon. Right there.
パソコン
Pasokon. I don't remember missing that before. Did I miss it before? Yeah, I guess I missed it way back when. Oh, accidentally or something. Probably was a mistake on my part. Alright. Let's keep going. Alright, so where are we at? Let's see. We'll do 7 of these, get down to 240. Do 14 of these. Do all 20 of these, and go back here again. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. Gonna have to go into... Okay. Asa gohan. Asa gohan. Gohan. Asa gohan. Asa gohan.
朝ごはん
Asa gohan. Yoru.
夜
Yoru. 2. Yonaka. Yonaka.
夜中
Yonaka. Hanashi. Hanashi.
話
Hanashi.
あそこにバス停があります。
あそこにバス停があります。あそこにバス停があります。あそこ。あそこ。今朝。今朝。See, that's fine.
今朝
今朝。6. 見る。
見る
見る。That should be good. Alright, pause and exit. Okay. And got there. Okay, good. Let's see, we got to do 14 of these. Let's do 4 first. 動かす。動かす。動かす。動かす。
動かす
動かす。石鹸。石鹸。Could be that one, but we're looking for this. 石鹸。
石鹸
石鹸。割る。
割る
割る。洗濯。洗濯。
洗濯
洗濯。Okay, I think that's 4. That sucks. Alright, so we got 10 of these. メガネ。メガネ。メガネ。
メガネ
メガネ。風邪薬。風邪薬。風邪薬。薬。薬。薬。風邪。風邪薬。風邪薬。
風邪薬
風邪薬。すくえ。すくえ。すくえ。
机、
机、丈夫、丈夫、丈夫、
丈夫、
丈夫、おかしい、おかしい。Oh, that was fine. おかしい。There we go. おかしい。
お菓子、
おかしい。おかしい。おかしい。孫。孫。There we are.
孫、
孫。膝。膝。
膝、
膝. Kaban. And just in case, it's saying kana only. These are, again, if you didn't know, I added in bonus words to these four courses for vocabulary. And these are about 200 words or so that are still common vocabulary. But the Core 2K 6K series happened to give it kanji that were outside the scope of the 1100 kanji that I was teaching. So instead, what I did is I presented them as a vocabulary as kana only. Because again, there will be common words you will be using in your language more frequently in language. That's the main purpose. If you know the kanji for it, you want to use that, no problem. You can also but it's mainly look for the kana answer.
カバン、
Kaban. Haku should be haku. Haku.
履く、
Haku. Sobo. Sobo.
祖母、
Sobo. Okay. There we are. Okay. Alright, we got one last thing to do. We'll go back and start taking care of these. Alright, let's do 20 of these.
自己流、
Jikodyu. Self-training. Jikodyu. Jikodyu.
すいません、ちょっと出てきます。
すいません、ちょっと出かけます。
焼き上がったら
これどうするの？どうすんの？どうすんだ？これどうすんだ？すいません、ちょっと出てきます。出てきます。これどうすんだ？どうすんだ？すいません、ちょっと出てきます。これどうすんだ？
余熱で15分から20分置いてから出してください。すぐ戻りますから。
余熱で。余熱で。15分から2015分から20まで20分置いてから。Okay, anyway, so 余熱で15分から20分置いてから出してください。置いて、so 余熱で15分から20分置いてから出してください。
伊沢さん、どうしたの？
伊沢さん、どうしたの？伊沢さん、どうしたの？
私ナイトを買います。
私、ナイトを買います。買います。
笑顔になる味かな。
笑顔になる味かな。笑顔になる味かな。
それ早く返してもらえる？
それ早く貸してもらおう。それ早く返してもらえる。それ早く返してもらえる。
いい子。
おかえり、いい子。And again, I'm probably in the future start.
あなたのことは一切忘れるという。
消去。Again, start ignoring
そうって
these.
上手なんですね。
何のことで？
何のことで？Sorry.
上手なんですね。
室長って、室長って、上手なんですね。室長って、上手なんですね。何なのこと？ Alright, do 10 more.
彼女のためなら何でもしますとかなんとか言っちゃってさ。よかった。
彼女のためなら何でもします。とかなんとか言っちゃってさ。俺、彼女のためなら何でもします。彼女のためなら何でもします。とかなんとか言っちゃってさ。俺、彼女のためなら何でもします。
忘れるということ。
あなたのことは一切忘れるということ。あなたのことは一切忘れる。It should be 忘れる。
一切忘れるということ。
忘れる
伊沢さんがご不要となれば、
あなたのことは一切忘れるということ。消去。ちょっともう
あ、焼き上がったらこれを挟んで余熱で15分から
焼き上がったらこれを挟んで挟んで OK。 あと焼き上がるのをこれ OK。 焼き上がったらこれを挟んでこれを挟んですぐもう戻りますからすぐ戻りますからすぐ戻りますからすぐ戻りますからすいません待って
これ返そうと思って
これ返そうと思ってこれ返そうと思って
ちょうどよかった。これは領収書。
ちょうどよかったこれ領収書 That should be like a領収書 That's a receipt, yeah, formal receipt, voucher. ちょうどよかったこれ領収書余
熱で15分から20分か。
余熱15分から20分余熱で15分から20分か15分から20分か
遅えなあいつ
Okay, that's good. Let's see. Close that out. Okay. Let's do 20 of these and 20 and 20 and keep that. You 見せる
半月前に日本に来ました
彼に対する見方が変わりました。
彼に対する見方が分かりました。彼に対する見方in response to 彼に対する見方が 変わりました。ゆうべ、ゆうべ、
ゆうべ、
ゆうべ、見方。彼に対する見方が変わりました。英語、英語、
英語、
英語。見える、
見える。
見える。
東京に来るのは初めてです。
東京に来るのは初めてです。東京に来るのは初めてです。書く、
書く、
書く。Very good. Okay, do another 10 here. 話す、
話す。
話す。
あなたは英語が話せますか？
あなたは英語が話せますか？あなたは英語が話せますか？話せる。そう。話せる。話せますか？いっぱい。いっぱい。Oh, here, Donna. Sorry.
いっぱい。
いっぱい。
上司が一杯飲もうと言った。
上司がいっぱい飲もうと言った。夕飯。No, no, no, no. No, 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 no. 夕食。夕食。
夕食。
夕食。読む。
読む。
読む。
彼女は雑誌を読んでいます。
彼女は雑誌を読んでいます。読む。彼女は雑誌を読んでいます。社会。社会。Then if you reverse it would be 会社。But 社会。
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 プールは人でいっぱいです。
プールは人でいっぱいです。いっぱい。It's full of people. 人で。プールは人でいっぱいです。Okay. 昼食。should be 昼食。昼食。昼食。
昼食。
昼食。Okay, that's should be 220. Okay, good. Exit this out. Okay, do these 20. Anna. We want that, but we just want kana for Anna.
穴。
Anna. Anna. Show you. Show you. Show you. So that's the kanji for it. Show you.
醤油。
Show you. Cabin. Cabin. Oh.
Bean.
Bean. Bean. I was thinking flower pot. Vase. Flower vase. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I deserve
Bean.
that. Yeah. Bean. Casa.
Casa.
Casa. Genkan. Genkan. Genkan.
玄関。
Genkan. Kenka. Kenka.
喧嘩。
Kenka. Mayu. Mayu. Now, the thing about these, by the time you're done with these, there'll be 200 words or something, is that you will be learning these when you get up into the intermediate sections. And it'll probably be words you also learn from from any other grammar sources, or you just, whatever. So there may be times where you do learn words multiple times. All right. Yeah, and I apologize, but you don't have to do this whole bonus kanji, or the bonus words. You don't have to. If I gave you the warning, yeah, you will be learning these words later in future lessons, but then it's going to be you have to, pick out the correct kanji or whatnot, or type it in. I mean, but it's probably not going to be too difficult because you already did it once. It's up to you. So yeah, that's Mayu.
眉
Mayu.
次の駅で降ります。
次の駅で降ります。降りる。次の駅で降ります。But the reason why you probably want to learn is that way now you're learning it based on the kanji itself. So it'd probably be better to redo it. Only reason I'm giving it to you now so that it'll be happening and you're going to be hearing it, or it might be popping up. It just makes it a little easier for you, even if you haven't formally learned the kanji for it in the course series I've taught. If you learn the kanji on your own, that happens as well. Bean.
瓶
Bean. Kutsushita. Kutsushita. That's what we want, but
靴下
Kutsushita. いつ頃いつ頃
いつ頃
いつ頃 Bean. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. And it says right there, I mean, flower pot. That's kind of confused that with kabin. Or,
瓶
you also hear bean biru in Japan, which means bottled beer. Bean biru. Again, their habit of mixing up loan words along with the normal Japanese words. Day. Day. I like this kanji, but they always use zero now. Zero is
Day.
used much more often now. This is hiji. Hiji.
肘
Hiji. Oba-san. Oba-san.
おばあさん
Oba-san. Chawan. Chawan. Chawan.
茶碗
Chawan. You. See. You? You. Yeah, it's you.
湯
You. Ikutsu? Ikutsu? That's where abacus came in. Oh, ikura. Ga.
いくら
Ikutsu. Ikura. 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 Ikutsu. I guess ikutsu is more like how much, not ikura, how many. Kagi.
鍵
Kami. Kami. Now this is not paper. That's kami. This is also kami. That's the one they're looking for.
紙
Kami. Nigiyaka. 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 Well, that's what we're looking for, but we're not going to use that.
にぎやか
Nigiyaka. Ikura. Ikura.
いくら
Ikura. How much? Boshi. Boshi. Boshi.
帽子
Boshi. Okay, so that's all done there. Let's go to. Oh, I forgot the difficult desk. Ikura.
いくら
Okay. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's kanji. Kanji.
漢字。
Kanji.
彼は事故で怪我をしました。
彼は事故で怪我をしました。彼は事故で怪我をしました。
漢字は中国から来ました。
漢字は中国から来ました。漢字は中国から来ました。見つける。Now, sometimes you might see it like that for me and sukeru. I think this is the one we're looking for.
見つける。
見つける。電気。And there's a key that we learned today. It's electric spirit.
もっと大きく字を書いてください。
もっと大きく字を書いてください。もっと大きく字を書いてください。今度。買う。This also could be
買う。
後ろを向いて。
後ろ向いて。
晩ご飯は食べましたか？
晩ご飯は食べましたか？晩ご飯は食べましたか？
これは医者のためのサイトです。
これは医者のためのサイトです。これは医者のためのサイトです。サイト、インターネットサイト。今晩。
その写真を見せてください。
その写真を見せてください。その写真を見せてください。
新しい仕事を見つけました。
新しい仕事を見つけました。見つける。新しい仕事を見つけました。Good on you.
妹はひらがなを全部覚えました。
妹はひらがなを全部覚えました。妹はひらがな。There's a ひらがな in katakana. Oh no, ひらがな in katakana. There you go. Okay. 妹はひらがなを全部覚えました。This is 全部覚える。
これは大きな社会問題になっている。
これは大きな社会問題になっている。社会。It was like a picture of a baby with little girl, baby kid with a black eye. これは大きな社会問題になっている。
弟が車を買った。
弟が車を取った。買った。弟が車を買った。弟が車を買った。車。
毎日この道を通ります。
毎日この道を通ります。通る。毎日この道を通ります。よく。should be E.
いい。
E. 晩。 Okay. Keep going. Got about, we'll do 2 more of these, I think, and we'll probably have to call it a day. Hanashiai. Hanashi. Ow. Hanashi ow. Whoa. Whoa. Hanashi. God damn it. Hanashi ow. Hanashi ow.
話し合う。
話し合おう。
メガネが見つかりません。
メガネが見つかりません。メガネが見つかりません。
後で電話します。
後で電話します。後で電話します。今から。今から From now on. その後 should be その後 There we are. That makes more sense. これから
これから
After that これから Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. これから
これから
これから仕事
仕事
仕事これから
これから
これから道な通り、道路道路
道路
道路
今日は上司と食事をする
今日は上司と食事をする食事今日は上司と上司 Wait a minute, hear that again
今日は上司と食事をする
今日は上司と食事をする上司 is lady, so 上司 boss 上司こいつの上司ですこれからこれから
これから
Keyword this これ
私はジムに通っています。
私はジムに通っています私はジムに通っていますバイわからない場合は質問に答えてください私に聞いてください会社社会会社これから
これから
Let's see if it Okay I guess I could do a couple more after this
あなたの話は面白いね。
あなたの話は面白いねあなたの話は面白いね
私たちはよく話し合いました。
私たちはよく話し合いました私たちはよく話し合いました
新しいコンピューターを買った
新しいコンピューターを買ったコンピューター電話君の電話
3月は仕事が忙しい。
その瞳をそらさないでいいその笑顔を忘れないで
3月は仕事が忙しい。
3月は仕事は忙しい深夜の君の OK それが道道路通り
通り
通り チーズ、チーズ、チーズ、チーズ、
地図、
チーズ。火曜、火曜、
通う、
火曜。
この車はよく持っているね。
この車はよく持っているね。持つ。この車はよく持っているね。事故、事故、
事故。
事故。Okay. Next. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do two more.
友達とお酒を飲んでいます。
友達とお酒を飲んでいます。飲む。友達とお酒を飲んでいます。お酒。
駅はどこですか？駅はどこですか？
駅はどこですか？
お体をお大事に。
お体を大事に。お体を大事に。大事。青。Now, make sure you get the correct ow here. This one. Okay?
会う、
青。車. And it's different than jidosha because it only has one kanji here. So you know it's kuruma.
車。
車. Hashiru. Hashiru. Hashiru.
走る、
走る。食事。食事。食事。
食事。
食事。
わからない場合は私に聞いてください。
わからない場合は私に聞いてください。わからない場合は私に聞いてください。バイ。
電気をつけてもらえる？
電気をつけてもらえる？つける。turn on。電気をつける。電気をつけてもらえる？
彼は小さな会社に勤めています。
彼は小さな会社に勤めています。小さな。彼は小さな会社に勤めています。勤める。Yeah. Oh! Now, a minute 30. That was fast. Okay. Okay. It should be toru. Toru. Toru.
通る、
通る。最近。最近。
最近。
最近。
駅まで歩きましょう。
駅まで歩きましょう。駅まで歩きましょう。歩く。コンピューター。コンピューター。コンピューター。
コンピューター。
コンピューター。
計画を一部変更しましょう。
計画を一部変更しましょう。一部。計画を一部変更しましょう。
この靴は私の足に合っている。
この靴は私に足に合っている。この靴は私の足に合っている。似合う。そう、似合っている。
私は電車で通学しています。
私は電車で通学しています。電車。私は電車で通学しています。歩く。歩く。
歩く。
歩く。で、電車。電車はどこ？電車。
電車。
little nippy. It's feeling a little nippy. Shistemu. 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 Shistemu.
System.
Shistemu. Alright, and that should do it. Alright, so we're down to 160 reviews here, plus the others. Let's see, close out of this. Let's go and see what my system is looking like right now. Don't really care about the points. Here's kind of what I'm caring about. So what did I do today? 215 events today, so it was about 30, roughly, so maybe about 170 are actual reviewing of something. Got 160 left on that, so it was like, yeah, down from 240 or whatever it was. And then whatever else I had, like a few of those. So yeah, this is going to carry on. Let's look. I'm almost done. So it'll be about add another hour to whatever this time was. So let's find out. This is the amount of hours I spent on recording a lesson for remembering the kanji. So that's at 29 hours, 26 minutes. So it's going to be essentially a 30-hour course to teach 555 kanji. And yeah, there you go. Hopefully people who are watching this live don't have to worry about it anymore. You've already been going through the kanji on your own and whatnot. You know, hopefully these videos help out, you know, the average person if they want to start trying to do this course. Kanji could be the optional part. I've kind of been saying that to people now. If they feel like they don't want to approach kanji in the way of which I'm doing the Heisig method, you don't have to do that. You can do it with the KKLC, which is the Kodensha's kanji learning course, which is fine. Also, the way that gentleman from Learn Japanese in a Year was mentioning, he wanted to learn just the primitives, radicals and primitives of kanji, and then, which is about 200 or so of those. And then that way, whatever kanji he runs into as he's learning vocabulary, he can learn it as he goes along. So he's basically going to learn kanji as he runs into them, which is, again, workable. That's doable as well. And plus the benefit there, he's pretty much only learns kanji in context. And it does follow the whole visual thing that he was talking about, you know, each of the primitives or radicals has sort of like a really visual feel to it. You know, he can picture it in his head when they're going to start interacting. So essentially he is going to be doing a Heisig method. But even Heisig, it wasn't anything that new. I mean, it's kind of like what high schoolers were doing when they, you know, again, because they had to start testing to learn for the Joyo kanji. You know, they had to know the stroke words and whatnot, so they started doing it in parts as opposed to just memorizing a bunch of strokes. They were actually memorizing parts of kanji. When they started out as children, they didn't have the benefit of abstract thought that adults have. So children, you just taught, hey, here, just repeat this, and they just learned to write it. You know, they didn't know why, they just copied it. I'm sure, like when you were a kid, you weren't thinking of the fact that B kind of looked very similar to P, or that B and D, when you turn upside down, look really suspicious like lowercase b and d. When you turn them upside down, look suspicious like lowercase p and q, or you know the similarities between the I and J, and the or T, or maybe G and J have similarities. C and J kind of combined, kind of look like a G. You know, these are things that as a kid you probably weren't thinking about. You were just, hey, here it is in front of you. Just filled in you just traced the lines out and just remembered that. Got the muscle memory from that way. Didn't really think too much about it. You just did it. So yeah, that's why you know they say like don't fall into that trap of saying, oh, I need to learn like Japanese children learn. It's like, but you're not a Japanese school kid. Don't learn like a Japanese school kid. Learn like a person who doesn't know Japanese, who's an adult, and learn more efficiently that way. Take advantage of the fact that you already have a large vocabulary at your disposal. You have abstract thought at your disposal. You have years of experience at your disposal. To ignore that and to say I got to learn it, just have Japanese kids learn it, is, you know, kind of idiotic. It's like hamstringing yourself, or tying your arm and a leg behind your back before you even approach the language. Yeah. And especially if we're discussing about grammar. Now, vocabulary, like he was mentioning, vocabulary can be learned without too much thought. In fact, yeah, the whole picture going from picture to vocabulary word is a very clever idea, very smart idea. It's just something beyond the scope of what I can present, and can entrust that anybody who sees this picture knows that it's representing running, as opposed to shorts or exercise or man or sweat or daylight or fun. You know, you just don't know. You just see. You know, you have to kind of like give like 2 or 3 examples, 2 or 3 pictures showing that event and process, and okay, yeah, that makes sense. So and that's kind of like, I think Duolingo did that, and Duolingo was really good about that. They would show like 3 pictures, but they never went back to it. I don't think so. I think they showed you the picture, 3 pictures once, and they never used that again as an example, if I recall correctly. I haven't visited Duolingo in a while, in almost a year, so I don't know if they have improved it or went back the way they were. I do need to visit it now and again because, you know, keep an eye on it because it is a good software. I hope that they improve it. I hope eventually in the future they do create a Japanese course for English speakers because I think people would have a lot of fun because there's a lot of Japanese material that would be nice to translate into English. That could be fun to translate into English. Which is the ultimate goal of Duolingo. You know, train you up to get the course level 60 or get that 60th lesson done, and then you need to start translating stuff from Japanese into English. You know, in the group translation sections. Let's see. Let's do a quick refresh on this, and we're about to call it a day. I've got showing as one person is watching. It might be more than that. It's hard to tell with YouTube. We've passed the 3-hour mark. So I'm not going to be going too much further past this. It looks like I got one message. Hopefully it's not a nasty message. I don't like nasty messages. Come back here. Open link in new tab. Alright, so let's see what we got here anyway. So, alright, since this is pretty much over, I can delete the stream. Yeah. It doesn't look like there was anything else added, so I can close that out. No submissions. Let's see. Purpose of Goto. I'm starting to learn Japanese. Need to know how useful these teaching resources and programs are. Well, let's look at this. What is he saying? So this is Penniless Z. Okay. Instead of pen wisdom. I am attempting to learn Japanese in order to pursue a future career opportunities teaching translation. Wishing to become fluent as possible. I'm currently on day 5. Currently know all the hiragana. Good on you. Read and write them at a moderate pace. A third of the kanji, a few sentences, some grammar rules. Been studying around 8 to 12 hours. Wow. Taking a few frequent breaks. Been learning a few sources. I use Human Japanese, Pimsleur, Write It. Wow, he's got quite a few resources. Sometimes use memorize, though I'm weary of the vocabulary as I heard a lot of it is incorrect. Curious about Genki Obenkyo. He needs to learn some. He needs to learn how to introduce himself to some commas that could help out a little bit. English may not be his first language. Paid online service in Fluent U. Starting to learn Japanese. How I'm used Hajime Mashite. How do you do? Rather than nice to meet you. Which, okay, and that's where you run into the mistake of, you know, they want to learn how to talk. So it's like, here's the equivalent, and then, you know, but you're trying to use these phrases if you would use it in English, and that's not necessarily how you want to do it. Yeah, I'm watching YouTube. Okay, I mean, it might work. I think he's trying to use too many resources. Personally, he needs to narrow it down to stuff that works. You know, obviously the hiragana, katakana. You know, he's got a grammar, so he should narrow it down to either Genki or Human Japanese is really good. Pimsleur I wouldn't trust. That's more of an audio thing. Yeah, get rid of that stuff. Don't be too afraid of memorize because, hey, I use it myself. That's how I would say it to him. You know, definitely have one for grammar and one for vocabulary, and just go from there. And start also what he's doing here. Listening using Japanese is a very smart idea, and whatnot. He's gonna probably burn out if he's doing 8 to 12 hours a day. That might be a burnout. Very high likelihood on that. But you know, he might be able to pull it off if he can stick with it. He can learn really fast. That's the pace of a language school right there. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anybody guiding him. He's trying to guide himself, so he's probably going to do a lot of back and forth, probably repeating a lot from the beginning. But that's a trap a lot of beginners fall into. Is there a sub for intermediate Japanese learners? Yeah, like you would think this sub would qualify, but you know, for I'm suggesting Spiffy makes. I mean, already, the community is small. I mean, it's 67,000, and a lot of those subscribe, but they don't even communicate. Or, I mean, this is actually a slow subreddit compared to a lot of them. You know, it's got I think, more of a positive than the negative. You got some negative Nancys in this sub, but I don't think you need to create a sub of a sub. You know, just kind of tag your post. Maybe offer that as a suggestion. Offer it to the mods. Say, hey, I want to tag it as based on the level of what I'm recommending. You know, tag it as a level in 3, in 2, or in 1, and that'll flare it, and that'll give out maybe people who are say, oh, this guy is about a higher level. Maybe I want to read that because, you know, again, it might be a higher level person like Penn Wisdom who knows what knows a bit more detail on higher level of the language, and then he can go in there and talk to it. He may want to concentrate more on those, be on the lookout for those. 2 textbooks, money, contrasting information, day and knee. Let's see. Studying Mina no Nihongo. When I study Genki before, Mina no Nihongo states on occasion when action takes place by day. Okay, so yeah, so kaigi de nanika imi iken nanika something iken ga imashita ka. So kaigi de nanika iken. So just say something about your opinion. Say something. Ken go imashita ka. Did you say something or hear something? Yes, say something. Genki, it might be ni. Yeah. Okay, bangohan ni sarada o. Yeah, for okay, so for lunch sarada o tabemashita. Had dinner. No, that's lunch. But okay, it's okay. Hiru gohan. You're really confused about both the particles, use of verbs. Say okay. Hiru yasumi ni, hiru yasumi de. It means for it or through during that time, or it. It's kind of hard to give it. I mean, I guess you could describe it in English as to what's happening. It's just kind of get, for me, he's kind of get a more of an intuitive feeling, which I think works a lot better. You just you don't think about it as much when it's more intuitive, because you just use it so often. Just something sounds right or something feels right if you say it, so you just go with it. Even if someone can actually vocalize and put into rules or categorize like how this vocabulary works. But yeah, early on it would be good to especially that's the reason why I'll follow Tai Kim or the Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar, to kind of get you to understanding that again, here's what you should understand when you read it this way. Don't try to make up sentences. This is what I'm trying to discourage. The ones like making up sentences, like trying to talk or use Japanese on your own too much. You want to, right now in this early phase, get into absorbing Japanese. You want to absorb a shitload of Japanese. That way when you start regurgitating it, you've absorbed so much of it that only the good stuff is in you. Because again, you got none of the bad habits because you haven't created any bad habits. You weren't trying to. But you're going to be saying stuff that you've been frequently hearing, or you've been frequently mimicking and repeating, and your mind just says this is the way you got to do it because you've done this like 100 ways this way before. Why are you changing it now? So do it the way you did 100 times before. Even if the 100 times were in different sentences, because again the brain is categorizing and seeing like hiru yasumi ni or hitori de, which is different than hitori ni or isho something to isho ni. It's not like to isho ni. It's kare to isho ni. So it's somebody together with. You just start getting familiar. Anyway, and I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not practicing what I preach. I'm guilty of that. I am a hypocrite. Yes, I should be reading a lot more Japanese. I should be watching a lot more Japanese, and I'm not. That's my bad, and it will be hurting me. Yes, because that's the main purpose of all this. Is again, I do feel like right now I can comfortably read a manga at an okay pace. And I need to read a lot more manga. I can comfortably watch Japanese TV shows at a comfortable pace. I need to watch more Japanese TV shows, and I'm not doing that. I am watching English American shows because I like American shows on Netflix, or I'm definitely reading Reddit too much. So I'm guilty of that. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm not practicing what I preach. So don't do what I do. Try to put as much Japanese in your life as you can as you start through this process of going through all these. Well, this is the wrong thing, but while you're going through this kind of this roadmap, if you will, and it should be fun. It should be fun. Yep. All right, we'll leave that at that. Thank you very much for watching. It is the 15th. This was a 3-hour event. I did do a special 1-hour event last night, just as a reply, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and that was in reference to a guy who's planning to learn Japanese for a year. And I went over a lot of detail of a lot of the material I have that maybe if you been following you didn't realize I have access to a lot of material, and this has been built up over the last 10 years. Most of it was in my first 3 years. If you see the dates on there, it's like from 2011 or something is like the latest time in which it was developed or whatnot. So yeah, so from 2000, I started in 2007. I was just remembering the kanji. And it took about 4 months to get through the entire book, and then about another month or two after that to get the reviews for everything in there. About 90% was in at least a month or so in spacing, so 30 days or more spacing. And I went from there, tried to that's where, again, in 2007, there was not a lot of material that was in a structured way available for people who were trying to do stuff online. That what next was not there, and we were trying to figure out what the fuck to do next, and there was a lot of back and forth and discussion. That's when AJAT, All Japanese All the Time, started to become well known, and so a lot of us tried to follow that method of listening to Japanese all the time, doing what was called sentence mining, and we were looking for material to sentence mine to try to get this information, including grammar books. And so, that's when we started doing a lot of the transcribing. And, if I, let me go and, let's see, let me go and bring this up. So yeah, if I, right here, I try to make sure and save all my stuff on a file. So, I put it on the cloud. So gosh forbid that my computer crashes and dies, I don't lose all this information that I've built up. And that's why I try to put it online, make it available for other people, and they can do what they want. So yeah, I mean, we've got, I've got Anki files here, a dictionary of basic Japanese grammar, RTK3, from my old Anki list that I just restarted from scratch. Kanji lists are, crap, what were these? These are about sorted files or something. This is when he was sorting stuff, so I was like working with that. Dictionary of Japanese grammar, so this is all the PDFs for that. Drama scripts, these are all the scripts from the TV shows that I downloaded and watched, and these are all the scripts for it that were available from Drama Note, Sensei.Drama Note. I've put links to that website. It's like they basically put out, and this is a Japanese website for getting drama transcripts for TV shows. Here's all the various I know files from way back when, like 2010. And in fact, here's the first one from like 2008, when we were, first time we were like, people were able to get it from, get it in bulk from the website, I know website. Some JLPT files, here there. The JLA was like Japanese Listening Advanced. This is a guy who tried to do a 5 to 10 minute discussion with somebody else using natural Japanese, since he himself was a native Japanese, and also released the transcripts for what they were talking about. Kanji and onyomi, these are all my kanji files. Some of them are things that I've messed with, like this playlist. This playlist actually me for the videos, which I'm doing right now. But yeah, different types. This is movie method for when I was trying to. Let's see if I can edit this. Let's see what this is. I might have saved this as something else. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this was, stop that. This was on the idea of like treating learning kanji in a different way, which is, this goes on the idea of, okay, let's say you learn all the primitives and radicals first, instead of learning it and then instead of learning radical like the Heising method was learn it one at a time, and then learn kanji as you go along. This was learn all the primitives first, and what he did is he attached an onyomi to a movie. In this case, like Joel. And so what I did is I created a spreadsheet of the onyomi of kanji, and ranked it, and then that way I wanted to learn kanji, put all the really popular movie, a really big visual movie with the onyomi that had a lot of kanji that uses that pronunciation. And so in other words, for these right here, I actually populated that movie and various scenes of that movie with these kanji and the onyomi, and with the radicals that make up these. So Ho would have been like Zorro, the Mask of Ho. Okay, maybe here and whatnot. And there was some other stuff I did with it. This wasn't the only thing, but in fact, let me go and close this out and close this out. Close that out. All right. Yeah, so I mean, I've got a lot of files, and I'm not going to share everything, but like Kanji the Odyssey was the book, and this is us transcribing it. This is when we tried to transcribe the book, which was all the sentences, all the example sentences that were in that book, and that's what with this here. In fact, let me show you this. This is an interesting story about that, was that we purposely made it. I was the one who initiated the project to transcribe this into a spreadsheet. And we made the agreements that you had to get access to this spreadsheet, you had to show at least proof of ownership, modest proof of ownership that you had that you did own this book or these books. That was all. I mean, it wasn't. And what I liked is I don't recall seeing one of the files did end up going on and this is an older file anyway, but yeah, so this is like this is a number for the kanji, this is the kanji that is gate, and then these are the example sentences, and we transcribe the sentence, the kana for it, or the kana version of it, and then the English translation of it. That was, these are the example sentences. So yeah, I mean, again, this was back in 2008 when we were trying to, or 2007, we were trying to find something, anything, to help us get better in Japanese. Let's see, Kanzen Master, which is a good Japanese only, or Japanese to Japanese grammar book series. But those were transcribed. Lyrics to music. This is when I like karaoke, so I'd download the lyrics to the music so I can have something to print out and study, or something real quick, so I can sing these songs better at karaoke mentally. And file. Here's a novels. These are like, I'll put it this way. This is like 5,000 novels, books, and which is not really that important. There's maybe a few. You're not going to read all of them. So I don't know. Remembering the kanji books, subs to SRS. This was me when I was. This is empty now because I put subs to SRS on my video files as opposed to. And Tanuki. This was I think one of their text analysis and exclusion. The idea is like this is the text analysis tool. So this is me creating a group of files I can reference or copy over real quick when I need to streamline or strip out any vocabulary from a. Let's say I want to scan a book, but I don't want to collect a bunch of vocabulary words, but I don't want vocabulary words I already know. So these are essentially a exclusion text. That's what exclusion list is. This is, if you looked at it, let's see, edit with this right here. These are all the things that, hey, don't include this information. All right. So if you're going to generate all this vocabulary words from this, let's say this book, yeah, don't include these vocabulary words because I already know them, and then it'll give me just the vocabulary words that I should not know. And that's how I use this to generate the vocabulary list for the grammar, a dictionary of basic Japanese grammar, and the Japanese drama immersion vocabulary. That's how I end up generating those. Then we got Understanding Basic Japanese Grammar. This was an early grammar book. I don't recommend it. It's a good book. I'm not going to recommend it only because there's better material out there now. But it was a good book, and it gave links of Japanese discussion or text, and it gave an English translation for it. If you read the book, it sort of makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, this is something as a beginner it would have been nice to have. So we were transcribing it, trying to put it into a spreadsheet and enter those, make those spreadsheet into Anki files. That was the main idea there. And you can tell, see right there, from 2008, it hasn't even been touched since then. I made the mistake, unfortunately, of when I began that project, I wanted people to kanjify work, because there are a lot of kana-only words. So I wanted, let's kanjify it, because this is right after I just finished kanji, man, and kanji was our thing, right? We were all about kanji. That's a bad idea. Just because a kanji version of a word exists doesn't mean you use it. Because you may be using it improperly, or you might be using the wrong kanji, or whatever other reasons. So just trust in your source that you use, unless you definitely know better. Unless you definitely know better. Don't try to guess it or anything. Try to have faith in your learning material when that happens. So anyway, yeah, that's like I said, I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of shit. And that's why when I said is I have all the material needed to get somebody up to the advanced levels. It's not that I studied this material and I know it from experience that this is going to get you. It's just, okay, I am guessing here. I am guessing that, yeah, if you finish these 2,000 vocabulary words and the Tai Kim grammar, on top of maybe also including a dictionary of basic Japanese grammar and maybe 4 episodes of a drama, you will be at the comfortably in the N4 range and approaching the N3 range. And I know if you add another 2,000 vocabulary words and half of the book from a dictionary of intermediate Japanese grammar, and maybe a couple other 8 episodes from 2 other dramas, that you will be comfortably past the N3 level and making your way into the N2 level. Or when you get to 6,000 vocabulary words and finish off the last half of intermediate Japanese grammar, and again do about 12 episodes of Japanese drama, that you'll be comfortably into the N2 level and make your way into the N1. Like you're making your like a quarter of a step into the N1 range. If not, so you could probably take the test and do okay. You probably won't pass it, but you'll do reasonably well for people who are particularly claim themselves as being N2, you'll be able to take N1. N2 should be no problem. And I'm only guessing that. I don't know. Could be wrong. All right. You know, we're trying this out. That's why I want feedback. You know, if you are doing this and you start progressing through it, and you know, and that's why I personally am going to start going through this level and push through it. I don't want to burn myself out. So that's why I perfect when I get to that course, not a course. Sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong thing here. Come on. So that's why I wait. It's when I'm getting to this course, that's when I'm going to start working on it. That's when I'm going to go through and actually go and put in the mem notes and fill it in with the stories. I didn't do it till I got to this course. And when I get to this course, the Taikam Grammar, that's when I'm going to go and copy the lessons from Taikam onto this course, and also maybe then I'm also going to be going through and I will go and try to fix the audio or any of the typos that might exist in the course. I'm not doing that ahead of time. I'm going to do it as I get to it. Same with here with the audio. I'm probably going to make sure all the audio is loaded by the time I get to it. I need to do that now. And I'm not going to work on the intermediate till I'm almost done with the basics. And then I'll actually have all these I'll start, you know, probably spend a good chunk of change to trying to get all the intermediate files ready and posted, and then comes the really annoying part of loading up all the audio or whatnot. But yeah, by that time though, it'll be ready, and then hopefully people following in my wake, which is what's happening with these members, as they follow in my wake, that I'm leading the charge, if you will, except for maybe Akulum. He's ahead of me. Yeah, this guy's ahead of me, but in fact, he should have passed me by now. Yeah, he's getting close to passing me. But yeah, you know, again, he and I are leading the charge. In fact, he's helping find a lot of errors ahead of time. And I do need to get around to putting the audio in the vocabulary for him. You know, again, so he can check out and whatnot. It's just yeah, and hopefully these people are following up behind me, and they'll be, you know, again, getting up to the middle of it, and then getting into the finishing up the basics when I'm getting into the intermediates, and the intermediate will be there waiting for them to be able to keep going. And like I said, let's drag. You know, again, it's like a flock of seagulls or a flock of birds here. You know, me and Akulum were up there near the front, you know, doing the hard work, trying to make everything easier for the rest of the group, you know, and then push forward that way. The only thing people doing this course have to worry about is learning Japanese, getting into Japanese literacy, and at least this part that it can be done online. And then the things that you can't do, or that I can't legally host, you got to find out how to do on your own. You know, again, getting access to the manga, getting access to the dramas, getting access to the music, whatever, or talking to Japanese people. That's all up to you. I cannot provide that portion of the course here. It's just not feasible. Okay, I am talking longer than I really planned on it. I apologize. Anyway, this is a 3-hour, 30-minute stream. It's been a long 2 weeks doing these videos. It's been draining because it was me trying to teach as opposed to learn, and that can happen. But overall, I think it's gonna. I'm hoping, again, I get these videos posted, I'm hoping a lot of people get a lot of fun out of it. I hope they get a lot of good out of it, and it helps them, and it just pushes them further into that step toward literacy in Japanese, which is what we all want. Alright, and I'm hoping people like see what I did and they feel like, okay, pay it forward. Alright, there's all the help I helped out to, you know, all the nameless people or any number of people who are trying to learn Japanese on their own. Hopefully they turn around and offer services or things that they can do to help out those that are wanting to learn Japanese after they're, you know, behind them. You know, pay it forward. Alright, so thank you very much. This is Nuke Marine. If you just checked in the stream, I'm about to stop the stream now, so hope you can catch a little bit of the recording earlier. I will be back tomorrow. We'll be finishing up lesson 37 and then moving on into actually my proper back into course 8 and trying to finish up course 8, which is going to take about, depending on the speed of which it's going to be similar to the here, so it's going to be about 2 to 4 weeks to finish up course 8. Thank you. So thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.